Somebody stole them. I've received nothing. It wouldn't let me track the package. I didn't get an email like I always do saying your packages were delivered because they don't even knock on the door anymore. Normally they knock on the door and then they don't even do that. I see them. They just throw them in front of the door and leave. So if I don't go outside for a while, I don't know they're there, but I'll get an email. Yeah. Your package has been delivered. Oh, open the door. There they are.
Where is it?
Nothing.
Nothing there.
So I finally got a hold of a live person.
Oh, hello, guy.
And that takes forever. It says, I can help you.
Good.
In a few words. Someone live. I can help you with that.
Yeah.
Operator. What are you calling about?
Yeah.
What's someone in customer support.
Yeah, say it louder.
How can I help you? Oh, my God. I finally got somebody live.
Okay. Hello, fellow.
So I told him what the problem was. Yeah. He checks. He goes, well, they said they were delivered. I said, I've never gotten them.
There. But
I don't know what to tell you. They're not here. I didn't get a tracking. The tracking thing wouldn't let me track the package. I didn't get an email saying packages were delivered. There's nothing in front of my door for 3 days.
Zippo.
Well, we are sorry. We can refund that, or we can just reorder it. I said, well, I'd like the 2 sweaters, so if they're still in stock, I'd just soon have the sweaters.
I want my sweaters.
So went through the whole process. He goes, okay, now that says it'll be there December 3rd, whatever it was, 2 days ago.
Yeah.
All right. No, December 5th, actually, which was yesterday. So they're supposed to come yesterday.
Should be there now.
Well, I don't go to my mailbox often. Once I know my bills, I have my 2 AT&T bills, my electric bill, whatever.
Bills.
My Visa bill. Once those are in, I know my bills are paid.
No, you don't need to go back.
So it's just going to be junk mail. So I don't check my mail like every 5 days.
No, I wouldn't either.
I go to my mailbox yesterday.
Where are they?
Both of the Amazon things are stuffed in there.
Oh, nice. Your sweaters.
They weren't delivered to my house. They were shoved in the mailbox. I've never had an Amazon package go in my mailbox.
Huh.
I think I have. If you buy like something small.
How big?
Well, there were 2 sweaters. They were fairly bulky, but they shoved them in there. But they always go to my door.
No, they're
I don't know how the mailman got them. Anyway, they're in the mailbox.
Okay, you got them.
Like a nice guy, and people are probably texting in, God almighty, get this story over with. Well, I'm trying to give you the parameters of what happened.
It's taking a while.
That's why I'm saying, was it just incompetence or nice?
I don't know.
So I said, I can't. I just told the guy I didn't get him. Now, I did get him because they're in the mailbox. I called customer support to tell them.
Apologize.
I know I said I didn't get them, but I just checked my mailbox, and they were in there.
Here after all.
Oh, I bet they were just cussing you out.
So I have the 2 sweaters that originally I said weren't here.
I got my sweaters.
So the 2 that are supposed to be delivered today, you can cancel that order.
Oh, no.
Because I have my 2 sweaters.
Yeah, you got them already.
This guy, he didn't
understand.
So what do you want me to do? I cancel the order. I don't need 4 sweaters.
Right, you got 2 already.
And plus, I told you I didn't get them, but I'm being nice and being honest. I did get them now. So I don't need the 2 you're going to give me.
Cancel.
To make a long story short, which is too late for that.
Way too late.
Self-awareness.
This guy.
What did he say?
Said, the only options I have here are to refund your money. What?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I'm trying to find the options here for what happened. And he said, the only option I have is, it says refund money. Would you like me to refund your money?
No, you can take your money.
Yeah, go ahead. I got 4 sweaters for free.
So that's
now, it's either being really nice or just incompetent that you don't refund somebody's money when I have the sweaters. I'm trying to give you 2 of them back.
You got your sweaters.
You're letting me keep all 4 and refunding my money.
I would have 100% snagged it from Amazon. It's just a corporation making billions.
I know, but I'm going to be honest. I said I didn't get them when I ended up getting them.
So where's it stand now?
They said they're going to refund the money. It'll be on my card in 3 days. I said, well, okay. I opened my door yesterday. There's 2 more sweaters on the front. I took
different colors at least.
No, the same colors.
Oh,
so I took a black Sharpie and I wrote on the package.
Yes, you did.
Refused, return to sender, and both of them, and just kept them out there.
Oh, did you?
So next time Amazon comes, they will see the packages and they'll take them back.
I don't know.
No.
And then I did what I said I would do. I gave the sweaters back. But the thing is, I still got 2 sweaters for free. They refunded the money.
Yeah,
I didn't need my money refunded. I got my sweaters. I'm trying to give you these back.
Take them back.
Keep the sweaters. We'll give you your money back.
Don't want them anymore.
Well, okay, if that's how you want to do it. That's your only option, according to this guy.
What you should do.
Yeah, they're a Fortune 5 company. I think they can. I don't think they're sweating the loss of 2 sweaters.
Have you ever called a credit card company and for fraud charges? I've only had it done twice.
Yeah,
where it's I don't know if they copy my scan, on the back of my card. I don't know how they do it. So I'm like, yeah, that's not mine. I thought they would need like a ton of more information. Like, okay, I'm pulling up my history. They go, okay. And just
They just wipe it off and don't even pursue the people that frauded you.
It's wiped in 2 seconds. I'm like, how do you even know
That's
that
how
I'm
much
telling
money they're making.
Yeah, and that's my point. Like, at some point, Amazon just doesn't even. It's just waste charge, and it's already embedded into their profits.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
The same thing happened to me. I went to San Diego once to a restaurant. It turns out that's where they copied my card. 2 days later, I'm back home, and I went to Target in Kirkwood and bought something. And before I was even out of the line, my phone rang, and it was Visa saying, "Did you just buy something at the Target store in Kirkwood, Missouri?" Yes. "Did you also just buy a big screen TV at Best Buy in San Diego, California?" No. I said, "Oh, okay. We figured it was shady. You couldn't be both. We see that they've run up about $900 worth of purchases here in the last couple hours. We'll just erase that and send you a new card tomorrow." It's like that. I said, "Thank you, thank you very much."
You're not even to your car, and you got refunded.
Apparently, they don't even go after the people that do it.
God bless online banking. My God, is this story over yet? Get it over with, Agent Orange.
I like the story.
Please, God, take me now. That's from the two.
So right
you
now,
were probably sitting on pins and needles waiting for the story to end. I wonder how this ends.
I don't know.
Don't act like you weren't listening.
right now, the two sweaters are there saying "return to sender."
Yeah.
You had the two that you wanted wrinkled, but you had them.
They were a little wrinkled because they shoved them in that mailbox.
Yeah.
I threw him in the dryer one time. Can Iggy please light himself on fire again? Give the 2 extra sweaters to KG in O-Town. That's a good idea for some TikTok.
Yeah, we're about the same size.
No, you're probably a men's medium,
These were mediums, yes.
and he would need probably an extra large.
Yeah, so they wouldn't fit. I gave them back. I don't just give them away. I'm trying to give them their merchandise
Maybe
back.
those would have been good Megan Meyer Foundation gifts.
I'm not. I
On
don't
behalf
want
of Amazon.
I don't want to take them. I told them I didn't get them,
Yeah.
but then I did get them.
Well, you
I don't
did,
want to
yeah.
lie.
No.
I want to
Jackson,
give them back.
if you have a soul, please make sure this sweater story is deleted from the podcast and never makes a best of or TMA all day. No one ever needs to live through that again.
I got a
Ever.
cut of the week.
That's from Hyman the Raw.
I got it for cut of the week.
What do you want? You want us to break down Lars Newt Bar some more for you?
Biggie's Restaurant and Bar has been a staple of the community for over 30 years and is serving your favorites like the steak sandwich, waffle fries, and so much more. It's not just the food that's rocking. With a full bar and patio, Biggie's is the perfect spot for lunch, dinner, and a little laughter. Biggie's original hours are back. Open 11 a.m. till midnight, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And 11 a.m. till 1 a.m. on Friday and Saturday. Check out the full menu at biggiesrestaurant.com and stop in today.
I get asked all the time by people, if I'm in an accident, what should I do? And while yes, you should call the police, exchange insurance information, and take pictures of the scene, all those things are important. But the most important thing you need to do is hire a personal injury lawyer. This is Doug Biggs from Longo Biggs Injury Law. And if you've been hurt by someone else's negligence, don't take on the insurance company yourself. Insurance companies have teams of people and a playbook designed to keep you running in circles so they can pay you as little money as possible for your accident claim. If you don't have a lawyer, they know you can't bring your claim to court, and they will never give you full value. We recently took an offer from an insurance company without a lawyer on the case from $12,000 to $200,000. You can't get that kind of result without an attorney on your case. Even if you don't hire us, you need to hire a personal injury attorney. Check us out online at longobigs.com.
TMA listeners have a lot to think through financially. Saving for retirement and college while also paying bills and enjoying life along the way. Call Mark Hanna. Mark works with you to design a strategy to do your finances right. It's a straightforward approach that starts with a 15-minute phone call to discuss your needs. Visit evergreenstl.com or give Mark a call at 314-889-0503 today. Mark Hanna offers securities through Equitable Advisors, LLC, member FINRA, SIPC, a broker-dealer. Equitable Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Evergreen Wealth Strategies is not a registered investment advisor and is not owned or operated by Equitable Advisors or Equitable Network.
Hey, this is Tim McKernan, and I am here with Seth Goldcamp of Design Air Heating and Cooling, and I have been a long-time Design Air client. What separates you guys from everybody else?
It's becoming more common for companies to just get their foot in the door. They try to come up with different ways to upsell. They try to see how much they can make off of a customer as opposed to, hey, we're in there to do a service. We're going to do it well. We're going to do it for a fair price.
I don't know how many emails I have received from our listeners who experience the incredible customer service Design Air Heating and Cooling provides. It's Design Air Heating and Cooling, online at designairservice.com. The Illinois Recovery Center is dedicated to providing precise and authentic care to those seeking help and treatment. Recovery, it's not just a goal, it's a transformative journey. At Illinois Recovery Center, you'll find an unwavering commitment to provide the support, guidance, and personalized care you or your loved one needs to rediscover a life filled with purpose, strength, and lasting renewal. If you or someone you know wants more information about the Illinois Recovery Center, please call 888-472-9559 or visit IllinoisRecoveryCenter.com.
Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, KPN-TFM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA All Day. Rise and shine, St. Louis. It's the Brown and Crouppen Morning After on KPN-TFM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. At the Morning After STL on YouTube and on TMASTL.com with Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Iggy Strode, The Plowboy, and Action Jackson.
707 in St. Louis, you're listening to TMA, presented to you by Brown and Crouppen. Welcome, friends, to the Munganess St. Louis Acura, Munganess Burkhardt, Alton Toyota, 7 o'clock hour. Timothy Michael McKernan, Jackson Burkett in studio, sitting in for the vacationing Douglas Elvin Vaughn, Kenneth Iggy Strode, the Plowhawk, and in the Fox Seckman C6R1 studios. Is that right, KG in O-Town?
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah, that's it. That's KG in O-Town, everybody. Welcome, and get involved, as it is going to be intense. City, New York.
Let's go.
Preview, and Blues and Wild preview, and Ole Miss, Missouri preview, and Billikens and Rhode Island heading their way tomorrow. We'll get you ready. 314-881-TMA5. It's the Jeff Lotman text inbox, JEFFLOTTMANN.com. Buying a house, selling a house, work with Jeff Lotman of Compass Realty. And he's been doing it in St. Louis for more than 2 decades and more than $500 million in sales. He's the sponsor of our text inbox, and he has connections if you are looking to sell or buy a home, because he's been doing it for more than 2 decades in St. Louis. JEFFLOTTMANN.com, text inbox sponsor, which you can get involved in here on the program. 314-881-TMA5. Iggy, they were waiting for you. Midge or Madge says winter is over. Ken Strode, do you consider these conditions this morning to be wintry?
Well, kind of, but it's not. Winter's over. I mean,
okay.
It's going to be 50 today. You consider 50 degrees winter? It's more like fall.
It was cold this morning driving in.
Yeah, but I mean,
I didn't know there was going to be precipitation. I was alarmed when I went outside. Alarmed, I
condensation.
Yeah, but when I say winter's over, I mean, we're done with weeks of 20 degrees and snow. I mean, it's over. We had 2 days in the 30s, low 40s after it was 80 for 2 days. And then we're going to get back in the 60s and 70s for the next 10 days. So, I mean, winter's over.
I got to tell you, I'm looking at the forecast. Not great. Not great after Monday. 60s and 50s going forward. Again, that's my phone. That's my phone.
Yeah, your phone. It's probably high 50s.
50 and 51.
Yeah, that's high 50s.
Right.
Well, winter's over. I mean, you're not going to see any more snow. You're not going to see any more ice. You're not going to see any more zero freezing temperatures.
If you had to set the line of will there be another drop of snow this spring/winter, you would say no, like up until April or May.
Well, what do you consider? I mean, does it have to be accumulation? I mean, you see a flurry for about an hour.
No, like it hits the ground and it'll stick.
No.
So you say no?
No. Winter's over.
I feel like there's always that one day.
Winter's coming. I'm saying winter's over.
There it is.
I feel like there's always that one day in March where like a little snow comes down.
Yeah, I don't know. We've had such a mild winter.
It has been really nice.
I don't think March is going to be that bad.
We look like bad little sluts on the YouTube, and I like it. YouTube.com/TMASTL. And you can get involved by participating in the chat there. It's interesting that the chat on TMA is not as active as the chat on Balloon Party. And we welcome you to participate in the program via the chat and also the phone lines at 636-9004-TMA. And, of course, emailing in for our Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email today, the morning after at InsideSTL.com. Jackson, we have only been able to do one QFTA/Tim McKernan Show podcast this week. It's been a scheduled situation, sound stories and meetings and such, and I have another one at noon today, so that will prevent it. And we have fallen behind on the emails we get for QFTA, and you can send yours in. Anything's welcome. Questions, comments, any topic. I mean, anything. T. McKernan inside STL.com. And considering the volume that's fallen behind, I kind of thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring some of them to TMA today.
I like that.
TMA, QFTA, and then that allows the Plowhawk and Iggy, along with KG and O-Town, to partake, especially when we get an erotic story like this one.
You teased this one on Wednesday.
I did, because I felt like, okay, I said I'm going to do it on Friday, but then I've got this meeting at noon. I'm not going to be able to do QFTA today. So let me bring it here, especially with our erotic story connoisseurs, Pepper and Jeannie, getting a chance to hear this one.
I'm looking forward to hearing it.
And in van. 2. Ooh, flush. Anybody hear the flush? Did anybody hear it?
Flush, yeah.
Paul, can you catch it?
It's a powerful flush, man.
I can't hear it.
It almost feels like it's coming through the wall, like the reverb.
That'd be amazing.
It's almost like the aftershock, just you kind of feel it.
It seems like it would rob you of your colon.
Yeah.
I must have noise-canceling headsets because I can never even hear the weeing either.
You're locked in.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. You're just dialed in right
Yeah.
now. Good morning. Been debating on sending this story in, as I have reservations on how it will be taken by the two of you. I know you also like to get opinions on TMA, and it seems no matter the story or circumstance, Iggy and Plowsy never believe them.
That's fake.
Yeah, so this one, they're already
already
laying
have to see it.
You already
they're laying
have
the
to beg
blanket
for us
there.
to believe it, then. It's fake.
Putting the sleeping bag down in the
I don't
tent.
know if you'll think that by the time we get to the conclusion. But nonetheless,
The climax.
here we go. My wife had a male colleague at her place of work who had been seeing and dating gentlemen for a few years. For context, he was around 22 or 23, and my wife and I were 27 at the time. This is Dear Deidre style. He had dated both men and women in his life, but had decidedly dated men since he graduated high school. That year, for the 4th of July, we'd invited him over for our usual family barbecue. He was a nice guy, and he and I chatted and got to know each other in the coming days and weeks. Through the three of us, he, my wife, and I, hanging out together, the subject of him deciding if he was truly done with women and wanted to stick to men came up. As we were drinking one night, my wife brought up the idea of a threesome, and that helping him decide. Again, for some context, my wife and I had engaged in 2 MFFs and 1 MFM over the course of our relationship. This was a road we had traveled before. What made this situation was unique was that the M in this MFM wanted to engage with both of us, making it an MMF. And he was very upfront about that in the conversation. I said I understood. I had never had any sort of contact with an M in a group sex setting before, so new territories were about to be explored. When that was settled, the festivities began. I was pretty buzzed, but very aware of what was happening. We all made our way to the bedroom and began to undress. The initial move was for my wife and him to perform oral on me at the same time. Into the fire, from the jump. I then sat back and let them engage with one another. Again, it was his exploration, and I wanted to give him that space.
I want to make love.
I actually left the room for a few moments so that they could engage with one another. And I'm not the pleasuring myself in the office chair type of guy. It hits home. I was then called back into the room and engaged with my wife while he watched. The next part was where things went a little bit off the rails. It's why communication's important in these situations.
Yeah.
Things were going decently, and I asked him if he wanted to tag back in. And then he says, I want you to top me.
He exclaimed it.
Well, you asked him to tag back in. He did.
Yeah.
I should have been aware this could come up or happen. But I guess I was naive to expect him not to be that forward. I then had to step back and explain why I was not comfortable doing that at this moment, nor did I know if I would ever be. I told him to tag back in with my wife, and he did. My wife then had the idea to help him get satisfaction to whip out her toy and use that on him. As she pulled the dildo out of the drawer, I'm assuming things went well, as there were a lot of noise from the bedroom that I heard from the other room. My wife was into it, so that made me happy for her.
I like how he's in like
It's kind of like when somebody shoots a 1 under.
Yeah, he's like in the green room.
I was then called back into the room after a moment, and we had what I would describe as a typical MFM to, quote, get us there. As we dressed, we all talked and discussed the situation, and after some clear-cut communication on what everyone was okay with, we agreed to do it again. We engaged 2 more times, and that was your more typical MFM style outside of Worrell, in which both would engage me. This gentleman's now married with a child, so I guess the exploration made his decision. I know this is long, but wanted to be as detailed as possible and give the proper context. Hope you enjoy your weekend. Thank you, in parentheses. Again, no name, please. Iggy, Plowhawk, I want to yield the floor to you gentlemen.
I'm going to say it's real just so we can get over it.
Normally I can poke a few holes in it. No, I can't really. I mean, it was either a well-written lie or he's telling the truth. I don't know. You let the guy do oral, but then wouldn't go any further. I mean, so you kind of enjoyed that, I'm guessing. I don't get the tag back in thing and leaving the room. I mean, if
Leaving the room is a little interesting.
Usually if they're going to...
Well, sometimes you got to, regroup.
Well, he left the room 3 times.
Throw some cold water on your face.
Grab a glass of milk.
Got his oral and left.
Chug it.
Came back in, wanted to top, he left. Came back in, left again, came in to finish. I mean, that's a lot of walking back and forth. Just stay in the room.
Sounded like he went in and just took a rail, because when he came back in, didn't he exclaim, "I want you to top me," or something like that?
I think that was the friend. Okay. The other gentleman caller.
Yeah, and that's almost like oral. I mean, you're not getting it in your rectum.
Right.
You're just doing the work. You're not...
You know what?
But there is a clear distinction between that.
Well, yeah, I mean, a hole's a hole, but...
Well, yeah.
I'll be honest. I love Madison to death, and so
I'm
like
curious where this is gonna go.
These stories like wear me out. I couldn't imagine having like the energy to do this on like a Thursday night. I'm in bed by 8. Yeah, like I just I want my head up.
Wants to figure out if he likes guys or girls. We're gonna help him out.
Yeah, that'd be a matinee.
Be looking at the Apple Watch, going, okay, it's 8:30. Still gotta get home.
Yeah.
I'm half chubbed from this story. Please keep going. That's from Ernie Bjorkman.
Of course, they believe it. All the listeners are just super. They're all pulled over with their emergency blinkers on.
This is just a great story of friendship, like helping a friend out. Let them.
And now he's married with a child.
Yeah, and I'd have to think.
This night led to a life.
Right.
Think about that.
Right.
Well, he didn't really need to participate, the husband. I mean, they just wanted to see. At the beginning of the story, I think he said, we wanted to find out if he still wanted women or is it just men. So one thing tells me there is that the only way you can find that out is to be with both. So you knew he was going to be with you. That shouldn't have been a surprise to you, because the only way you can find out if he still wants women with men would be...
Yeah, you need a control group.
You be there. Now, if that wasn't the case, then you need to be there at all. He already likes men, so you want to be with my wife. If he enjoys a wife, well, he still likes women. You don't need to be there. You know he likes men already.
Do you think that there's a possibility that maybe subconsciously the author is also doing some exploring just to confirm?
Oh, Bill.
Well, people are just confirming. If we're going to do some confirming, why not, cover both sides?
Well, he's obviously bisexual. He let a guy service him.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't know.
That one's,
I don't know.
It's a spectrum. So
It caught me off guard, that part of the story. I wasn't anticipating that.
Tim, that's back-to-back rock stories we've had where a gentleman.
That's what I'm saying. They're starting to become a theme of man-on-man action. These erotic stories.
The first one was like the Kurt Flood. Like, now it's open, and now we can find out, like, more and more people will send in maybe erotic stories that they've been holstering because they're nervous that we're going to judge. But we don't kink shame. We don't judge.
That's the key here.
I'm not going to judge, but I will say all these stories are at least say 1 or 2 times, I promise I'm not gay. And that's always a red flag for me, that they're just not admitting it yet.
You're saying he doth protest too much?
He could like both, for sure, but, don't...
See, again, I don't think that's a kink. That's just a preference.
Yeah.
Between men
Orientation.
and women.
Yeah.
Good morning.
100%.
These guys are gay. Thanks, Danny Tanner. Well, he doesn't really see any. Blah, blah, blah. Why are we listening to Pawpaw yap about relationships? That's from Patrick at Immaculata. What did he have to do with it?
I don't believe it's a relationship we're talking about.
Can
Is
I
there
get
anything
that
I can
guy's
say that you
email?
won't jump in on?
Patrick at Immaculata, you want to call in and talk it over? 636-9004 TMA. I know we're prominent in the Immaculata Parish. Can I get that guy's email address so my brother and I can hit him up? That's from Eric in the Central West End. Chairman Stephen Weldon says that kid's name was Mo Green. I'm full chub without the blue pill. That's from the Total Package. Not everybody enjoyed the story, although I'm noticing that the text history on this gentleman, he was complaining about Kelly Chase using the S word. Oh, are you familiar with this guy?
No, but it's
he doesn't have a name.
Yeah.
Might have found out about us from 10 to 11 down the hall. These stories are just effing fake. Why even read them unless you genuinely don't have anything to talk about? If you can't talk sports when sports are not creating buzz, then change the format of the show. The fake stories are pointless. Antiquated penthouse crap in today's world.
This dude is one angry son of
I think we've pretty much changed the format many, many years ago when we barely ever talk sports.
I think we did probably in July 2004, but I wanted to see if we could go 20 years before we reevaluated it.
In today's world.
Well, this guy changed our mind. Tim, the Blues play last
It's
night?
nice to have the olds. No, but big tilt tomorrow with the Wild, so big that ABC was going to show it, and they're pivoting off to a different game. But I will be there with my wife and my 2 boys.
Nice.
If it's a 5 o'clock game, that's family time.
Yeah,
you know,
that's nice.
or a, whatever it was, noon start against the Leafs and Austin Matthews, who was left open on a power play.
Yeah, I guess not
I can
quick
break
enough.
down Kyle Gibson's outing. It's spring training.
Well, I'd rather get back to the ironic story and screw that guy.
Let's see what else the Post-Dispatch has on the front page. St. Louis University's baseball team is hitting well.
Ooh, hell yeah.
They're undefeated. Then the front page story is why the Cardinals feel they need to be deliberate with Steven Matz this spring. So I'll take calls on that.
Deliberate in what sense?
9004 TMA. Ben Fred says the NCAA tournament expansion talk illustrates absurdity of modern college sports leaders. And then the Brewers stay in the chase while sticking to their budget. So any of those topics I can address and would be happy to spend the next 3 hours dissecting.
Man, this city is
booming. Metro booming.
got a ton of good activities.
It's a good way to keep me quiet.
I am also offended by Chaser's S words. I was going to buy a ticket to the charity games, but the profanity changed my mind, and I'll now be donating to Cardinals Caravan 2025. That's from Little Tommy Tribbins. He's out in the parking lot on his trike, and I think he won the Milagro Tequila Texture of the Year 2022.
Yeah.
I think. Or was he
Nailed
Rookie
it.
of the Year?
No, he won Texture of the Year. 2023 Texture of the Year was Arbor Day.
Thank you for finally covering the St. Louis University men's baseball team. That's from Big Tuft. I can call in and talk about the combine. I didn't actually go and don't know what it actually is, but all that seems on brand for you morons. Thanks, and Anyong. That's from Brian Henshin.
The Combine just seems like the least interesting sporting event ever.
Oh, yeah. Penn State D lineman ran a 4.8.
Well, speaking of the Blues, do injured players wear a suit and sit on the bench? Thanks for this one, diaper boy. That's from Stan the Caddy.
I didn't think that was that weird of a question.
That didn't happen on 101, did it? Because all hell would have broken loose. Did you say that on this show?
I said it here.
Okay.
I would say it on 101. I'll ask it.
And we were talking about Patty Maroon making a glorious return to St. Louis, and you asked if injured players sit on the bench during hockey games.
Oh, I thought maybe like they stand with the coaches.
The bench is tight quarters. They're
Right,
in,
that
in a lot
makes-
of room.
right.
And then they shift when it's time for the different pairings.
God,
and
wouldn't it be
lines.
funny if you miss a shift or you're late on a shift because you're trying to
Get around the
squeeze
guy in the
through
suit.
Bortuzzo
Yeah,
or
excuse me,
somebody
Big
else?
Rig. I gotta get on the ice. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. I thought maybe they stood behind like the coaches do, but it makes
Press box.
Okay, all right.
Can we talk about Missouri State high school wrestling? The media is soft in this town. Thanks. That's from the 314. I, too, wish you guys would talk sports. Our lads just posted their depth chart for our Pop Warner football team that plays in the distribution center. Looks like they got a big lineman from a D4 school who could stand out. Thanks. That's Alan. He's in Dadeville.
I will say, when we did sports radio, and I produced sports radio, especially Frank's show, our lads was the best. Because they would send us a booklet that not only had the draft choices after they picked them, but they had the depth chart of every team, so you could kind of look if you wanted to break down something. All right, well, they're starting linebackers, they're back, they drafted this guy. It was very in-depth. So it wasn't just the draft choices, but they had all the teams' depth charts and free agent signings and things like that. So if you do sports radio out there, go out and get the our lads.
Nice.
We don't, so I don't care. But
I had an opportunity to go into the NFL and didn't. That was the only chance I had to go in and didn't go. And when I take a pay cut to go, which was hard to do at that time.
James Carlton is the sponsor of the program. Also on Tim McKernan Show and Balloon Party. And he's my insurance agent. Now he's Iggy's insurance agent. Boom! And he's been the Plowhawks insurance agent. And he's been mine for 5 years. And he has 360 5-star reviews. And yesterday, James asked me, what would you do? Here's a You Make the Call. Iggy, remember, You Make the Call was in commercial breaks, like in the 1980s.
yes.
James asked me to play golf with him and the Colonel, and I've known the Colonel for 25 years. I've known the Colonel longer than I've known James. Hell, I've known the Colonel longer than I've known any of you. And I don't think we've played golf in I don't know how long. Maybe we've only done it one time. And it's April 2nd, the afternoon of April 2nd, but we're flying out of town the next day for my sister's wedding, and in that case, the 2 boys are going with us. And so, having experienced this, and I know I'm talking to people without children, or at least children of any knowledge, that when you're traveling with 2 little kids, it's a whole thing. And so I'm thinking to myself, I probably shouldn't do it because my wife's going to be packing for herself and the boys. And so if I'm out on the golf course with James Carlton and the Colonel, it would be what some married people could call problematic. You make the call.
How long are you going for?
Just be around to golf. Oh, you're talking about out of town? Flying out the 3rd, coming back the 8th.
Yeah, it would take you 10 minutes to pack.
Jesus.
I mean, you're packing for yourself. You said your wife's, Anna Marie's going to pack for her
This isn't
and the
about
boys.
me. She's packing for herself and the 2 boys.
Yeah, so all you got to do is pack for yourself.
It's not about me. It's about her. She's
Well, what are you going to do if you're there and you don't play golf?
Probably help her with the kids. Watch the kids.
I mean, it's 4.5 hours, 5 hours out of your day. What time you playing? Maybe you're playing at 8 in the morning. You'll be back by 1.
We got a program that day.
Tim's out.
Tim's out. What's he doing? He's playing golf with Gabe.
Oh, I didn't know it was a weekday thing.
Yeah, it's a Tuesday.
Just go.
Wow. Fuck, I got to pull you aside before you get married.
I'd play golf.
Yeah, I know.
It's a sponsor thing, man.
Yeah, you got to do it. It's a sponsor thing.
That'd be so funny.
I wrote back when James invited me, and I guess I didn't realize the Colonel was on the email, and I said, I'd love to do it, but I don't think this is going to be that would be a good call. And Gabe wrote back, this is the only time ever you have a legitimate reason for not seeing me, because he busts my balls that I don't go down to Columbia for games, and I say I'm going to. But in this case, as a guy who has 2 older kids now, he understands the program.
Yeah.
KG in O-Town, I mean, you have perspective that comes with being in the Fox Seckman C6R1 studios. What's your call?
You don't play.
Yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
You take the whole family and play.
I could take the 6-year-old. I can't take the 2-year-old out there at that point. The 6-year-old will just sit there and he might hit a few shots himself. Do not golf. Do not ask her if it is okay. It's a trap. Also, never ask Iggy to make the call. OMG. That's from Tracy Woodson.
If you want to golf, I can go help with the packing.
Not bad. You watch the boys.
He went to public school.
You watch the boys. Is packing a manual labor gig?
It's adjacent.
Is it manual
I mean, you have
labor
to lift
adjacent?
out the suitcase.
Might sneak a dilly in there.
Ooh, Bill.
Nipple clamps.
That depends on the wife. I mean, Anna Marie, I mean, I think I know her, that she's understanding, and she would let you, but you're also a caring guy, and you're thinking about your wife, so it's a
There's
toss-up.
one word associated with me. It's caring.
Well, for your family.
That's true.
So it's a toss-up. You know, I don't think she'd get mad if you went, and I think you would probably feel a little bad if you played.
I just think it's probably bad politics is the best way I would describe it.
You've been married long enough. Yes.
Get some awareness, you leaf pile. That's from the Orson Woods Wacko,
leaf
but I don't know
pile?
what a leaf pile is. I don't know who that's directed. Who's the leaf pile?
They're running out of names for me.
You're the leaf pile?
I'm just a wrinkled leaf in a pile.
Leaf pile. That's wild.
Caleb Mandrake's stepdad is still upset from the response his call got this week. What was his call about? Was he about hooking up with guys too?
The pegging story.
Yeah, he was.
We've really got a theme here lately.
But it was pegging with
theme.
Like the lady was dressed up as Doug, and he was like, "No, this really happened."
Yeah.
And like a bunch of people texted in, like, "No, I saw it," which made me think like he sent a group text out.
Caleb Mandrake's stepdad says, "Did my call and my storytelling suck? Yes. Am I a fat, poor loser from Festus? No. Thanks, Caleb Mandrake, stepdad, which I believe is a way to attack the audience for being fat and poor from Festus. That's my read on it. Maybe I'm wrong on picking up the attack.
I think a couple of people called him fat, even though they didn't know him.
We're talking about now. Caleb Mandrake's
Yeah,
stepdad?
some of the texters were saying he's probably a fat loser.
But they call everyone
I
who
know,
calls
so-
in a fat loser.
No, I don't think you're fat or loser. I think you're probably a nice guy. I just don't believe the story. But
Festus is a nice town.
Twin City.
It's definitely booming.
no, it's Hoosier.
Wow. All right.
Well, I
Iggy
can't,
doesn't
I can't
have
make
any
that.
fear to call.
I can't say the whole thing. I've dated 2 girls from Festus since it's total Hoosiers. And if you're wearing black leather jackets and hip black boots in the 95 degrees outside, something wrong.
I do believe in charity.
So she dressed like Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah, I was thinking about what that would look like.
Yeah, well, she had tie-dyed, acid-wash jeans on with boots up to her knees and a black leather jacket, and it's 100 degrees outside. I'm painting the house, and she drives over, and I said,
Classic rock.
Sounds like a Whitesnake video.
Bonnie Catane.
Painting
I've got
the
shorts.
house.
We were painting my parents' house.
You have on a ladder.
Yeah, I have shorts and no shirt on. I'm painting the house. I'm sweating my ass off, and she comes over like she's dressed for winter. No, they were both Hoosiers.
Pack for the boys the night before. Your wife will appreciate it. Take the 6-year-old with you to golf. So I'm a Crystal City Clan member. This is a guy who's making sense. I
said pack the night before.
But with but my 6-year-old will be in school. You know what I mean. So he's out at.
I give him a half day.
Get him out. Why? He's got to ride around in a golf.
A lot of moving parts in this golf,
That's
isn't
what
there?
I'm saying.
On a Tuesday, no less.
Well, the Colonel and James were understanding. James is online at carltoninsurance.net. Listen to Ledoux pandering to Festus and calling it a nice town. Come on, Jackson. Festus is the home of fentanyl, Kia Souls, and depression. That's from Little Tommy Tribbins from out in the parking lot.
The Kia Soul didn't take a hit like that. There's a really cool golf course in Festus that just became like public called Crystal Highlands.
It's a nice course.
It's a really nice
apparently the greens that they.
it's in the summer. It's mowed and kept like a country club. It's really nice.
I used to play it quite a bit.
Yeah, just right down 55. It's a cool track. Now that's about all the Festus thing I do, but
wow, right there at the end, after becoming a man of the people, right at the end, right there.
Well, I don't.
You just were so condescending. It was tough to even digest.
I'm a East Side guy. Like Illinois is where if I'm going to spend some time away from home, 40 minutes away from home, it'll be in Illinois, Southern Illinois.
They're active in the YouTube chat, and that's wonderful. It was kind of a call to action this morning to see if we could duplicate the balloon party activity. And it's happening. And Tony Courtney decided to make the observation that nothing better than a guy who inserts an R into the word wash, calling other people Hoosiers. That's from Tony Courtney.
No, I think I make it when I say it, I make it a point to say wash. Because I know it's a word that can sound Hoosier. A wash.
Idaho taters, baby.
So I make it a point to say wash. So you're wrong there. I'm the furthest thing from a Hoosier you're going to find.
You're the furthest?
Furthest thing from a Hoosier you're going to find.
Wow. Is there a T-shirt under that quarter zip?
No, a Hoosier is basically the way you dress is how I portray. Like my dad used to dress like a Hoosier when he's barbecuing. He had like a pair of plaid pants on and a pair of black loafers and a checkered shirt.
Nice.
And a trucker's hat. I mean, my dad looked like a Hoosier. But then when he had to dress up for work, he was GQ.
GQ smooth.
Yeah. So it's more the way you dress, not the way you act. Or, if you're rolling up cigarettes in your sleeve and...
Like Chris Chambers and Stand By Me.
Yeah.
River Phoenix?
That's right.
Rest in peace. Viper Room got him. Oh, my God, Iggy. That's from Jugs, and he is in D.C. You said Warsh. Play it back, Plowsy. That's from Dr. Nomar Asplay.
No, because we don't care.
Not that easy to play it back.
We don't care. If you want to believe I said wash, then go ahead. But I said wash. When did I say wash anyway today?
Acid wash jeans.
Not acid wash jeans.
There you go.
I don't know anybody from Festus who was confused for homeless in a McDonald's parking lot. That's from Chairman Steve, and he is in Wildwood.
How do you know?
Stephen Wildwood, how do you know?
I just told the story. You weren't there. I didn't look like a Hoosier. And she didn't say I was a Hoosier. She thought I was homeless. There's plenty of rich people that used to be rich that are homeless.
Think about that.
There's a lot of rich people that used to be homeless.
No, there's a lot of rich people that
are now
homeless that used to be rich. They just lose everything. I saw a lady begging for money, and she had a Mercedes.
It's tough.
And I actually asked her, I said, seriously, you got a Mercedes? She goes, I used to be well-to-do, but I lost a job and couldn't find one, and I had things to do and kids to take care of, and, now I have no money. There's nothing I can do. We're living on the street. Quite a conversation, actually.
This is on the side of the road?
First of all, you don't have a mom because you're not married, so your kids don't have that mom that you're dating. She had a Mercedes.
Think about that. I think Delonte West is like the only person I can think of that was once making like a lot of money and now is homeless.
Well, I mean, she obviously had no family. Because, I mean, even if I became homeless, which is always a good possibility.
Radio.
I mean, I have.
I'm glad you prepped.
I mean, I have family that I could go. I'm not going to go live under an overpass. I got family. I can say, hey, I'm out of money. I'm leaving my apartment. I don't have any money. Can I move in? Obviously she didn't have any family to go to, or else she would have go to a mom and dad's house with her kids. But she had nobody. She's pretty attractive. I was that close to saying you want to come stay for a few days and wash up.
Bad idea.
Nice.
Squatters.
Everyone will tell you we have to get better at teasing.
Yeah, speaking of which, somebody you're attracted to is male golfer Minwoo Lee, and he is leading the Cognizant Classic. Wasn't he on your roster?
He was. So was Novak, who I think was in second.
He is -6. Your guy Minwoo Lee is at -7 and leading.
So I got a first and a second.
Look at you. Are you live to ship?
I am.
Take a look.
I am if Brendan Todd's doing something.
He's
today.
doing real well in the game where I put our 3 lineups in.
Wow.
Eric Cole's being an idiot.
You have Eric Cole on your team?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Well, who does? Iggy or you?
I do.
Oh, well, then it doesn't. Eric Cole.
Is Brendan Todd, he played this morning. He teed off this morning. Is he off to a good start?
Hold, please.
Well, it's the Munganast Daily Fantasy Sports Showdown, and Munganast, he's -2 for the day, so he's 2 under for the tournament.
4 under is going to make the cut. I said the other day after the first round I would tell you what the cut and the winning score will be.
Okay.
The cut's going to be 4. The winning score. Now this is one of those courses where it can change. But if it stays the same,
Let's land the plane in 10 seconds on the Cognizant Classic.
Right, if it's not going to get really windy, 17 under will be the winning score.
All right, there it is. And for the record, the projected cut per Data Golf is -3, 40.9%, -2, 42.2%.
No -4?
No -4, even
Wow.
given a projection, but I suppose, who knows? Things can change, I suppose. But anyway, there you go. Munganast sponsored the Daily Fantasy Sports Showdown, and that's Jamie Burkhardt, that's Clayton Patterson, that's Peter Munganast, and in the service department, that's Ryan Seiberg, and the team at Munganast St. Louis Acura and Munganast Burkhardt Alton Toyota. Can't say enough good things about the people there and the relationship this show and the Tim McKernan Show and Balloon Party has with Munganast St. Louis Acura and Munganast Burkhardt Alton Toyota online at stlouisacura.com. Go shopping right now. You don't have to leave your home. You don't have to leave your office. Just stlouisacura.com or altontoyota.com. And if you have a question, you have a request, they give a number specifically for our listeners to text or call. And that number is 314-252-0029, 314-252-0029. All right, I said I was going to go through QFTA emails. Not Caller Adam is a superstar, kind of like Timmy Recaps is a superstar on QFTA. Who else is a superstar on QFTA?
Hunchback of Von Castle.
Yeah, they're QFTA superstars. So here's a Not Caller Adam one. When it comes to media coverage, in regard to opinion or commentary, I was wondering, how do you keep objectivity and not let things become personal, both as the person giving the opinion, but also if you are the subject? Is it something that you just develop a thick skin about, or a skill you can learn and develop? All the best. It's from Not Caller Adam. P.S. I'm enjoying the show. So I want to make sure I understand this. Keep objectivity and not let things become personal, both as the person giving the opinion, but also if you are the subject. So I didn't understand, but also if you are the subject, and I realize it's an email, so I can't.
Yeah, if you're the subject of the opinion, I guess. Like you are what's being discussed. So how can you like give an opinion without being objective or keep objectivity? But that would kind of be tough if you are the one who is the subject. Like
my computer.
It's tough not to be like I don't know. How can
you not be objective when this topic is about you?
I know I don't follow,
Right.
but he writes great emails. So
He does.
I did in this case. I may be misreading it, just misinterpreting it. But either way, with regard to the thing that I do understand, I think it's a very astute observation that what I would say in 2024, more so than say 2004, but maybe even 2014, is that rarely do I listen to or read someone where I am surprised by what they say or write. In other words, people have already kind of chosen who they're going to cater to, and the take has already been baked up before they even observe the process and then the outcome. And from my standpoint, number one, it's disingenuous. Number two, it's manipulative. Number three, it's boring. The boring part is really not damaging, but the first two can be, especially when it involves governmental policy and elected officials. A sports situation, that's a different thing, although I would say the St. Louis and the Rams spot was damaging to this area. And I think people were, in some capacity, bought and paid for when it came to the coverage of that. So I'm trying to think of like people I had run-ins with. Rick Ankiel really was not happy when I interviewed him, and we were, I don't want to call us friends, but because we were both the same age, or I was a year older, I guess. When I did the first interview with him after his blow-up in the playoffs in 2000, and I'm like, oh, cool, he's going to do a sit-down with me one-on-one, and then he was pissed that I was asking him questions about it. I'm like,
What'd you expect?
Yeah, and he didn't do an interview with anybody about it. But because we had the rapport, he did. It was a winter warm-up. And for real, no BS, man. I know this may sound crazy, but he held that interview against me, which was January of 2001, I think for like 15 years. At some point, whatever day or whatever year the book that Tim Brown wrote about him, which was a great book, by the way, he was just sitting at the picnic table at spring training, and I had stepped away. It was a commercial break, and I go back into the the restroom and come back out, and he's sitting there. I'm like, oh man, I don't know if he knows that I'm the host of this show. He might not want to be on it, even though this is something that happened 15 years ago. Now, even with that, and knowing that he hated me, and I didn't feel like I did anything wrong, but whatever, that stuff goes on. I'd like to think, did not allow it to color my opinions when talking about him. If anything, one of my favorite moments in my time doing this stuff was when he returned to the major leagues and in his first game back hit a home run as a position player, considering what he had been through. And he had been through a lot by the time he even got to the Cardinal organization in his youth. So, even though I'm watching a guy who I know hates me, I'm super happy for him and admire his persistence to, you go from making whatever he was making, imploding on a national stage in the playoffs 2 different times, once against Greg Maddux, the other against the New York Mets, and then going through injury in addition to the mental situation. I mean, how many people would go, you know what, I'm going to just try to be a position player? Right. Most people would shut it down, and God only knows what the hell would happen to him. And instead, now he's going from major leagues and flying chartered flights and staying in 5-star hotels to riding buses in Johnson City, Tennessee, all over the country, just so he could possibly get back as a position player. And what are the chances of that? And then he does, and in his first game back, he hits a home run. There were 2 times I saw Tony La Russa smile in the dugout. One, for whatever reason, weirdly, right before David Freese's triple off Neftali Feliz in Game 6 of the 2011 World Series. And I guess it's because he knew that it was about to be over for his career. Nobody else knew. Mm-hmm. And then the other time was when when Ankiel hit that home run in 2007. Because I think La Russa felt some culpability for what happened to him, even though I don't think that's necessarily if you got to be a little older to remember this. But before that series with the Braves, he had decided that Ankiel was going to start Game 1 against Greg Maddux. I think it was either Maddux or Glavine. Either way, it's two Hall of Famers. And so as to reduce the pressure on a guy who had just turned 21 3 months beforehand, he had Darryl Kyle come to the press conference as if he was going to start Game 1, all the while knowing Ankiel was going to start Game 1, and he felt like that little mind game may have contributed to Ankiel's anxiety, in addition to the fact that Mike Matheny wasn't behind the plate, and Carlos Hernandez, who the Cardinals had acquired from the Padres, was back there, and so he didn't have the rapport with Ankiel that Matheny did, so Matheny blames himself too. And so I think there was some sense of true, just selfless joy on the part of Tony La Russa when he saw Ankiel make the return, number one, but then hit a home run in his return. So the Ankiel would be one who I remember Matt Morris chewed my ass out. It was just me and him in the clubhouse. I wanted to do an interview with him. This was, I think, after a game. And I'm like, well, I want to ask you about these numbers. And this was kind of pre-analytics. I mean, Morris was with the Cardinals, and he was only with the Cardinals through 2005, so that kind of speaks to it. And I presented, I don't know what the numbers were. Maybe it was home and road splits, or if he goes through 5 innings, whatever. I don't know what the hell it was. Either way, here's a guy who got cut from his baseball team in high school, and I'm sitting here telling him what's the deal is. And Morris and I had a good relationship, and he's getting pissed. And I'm like, well, these are the numbers. And he goes, I don't give a damn about your numbers. And I think he swatted the little notebook paper I had away. And like I said, it's just me and him. And I'm like, all right, but it was, everything's cool. I still think he was a great guy. Tino Martinez was pissy. And I remember he and Bernie Miklas had some kind of run-in. But Bernie, I remember talking to Bernie one night out, and he's like, yeah, you can't allow that to then color my reporting. And my reporting was that the Cardinals were interested in shopping him. And sure enough, the Cardinals did shop him. They traded him away after 2 years. It was a bad deal. It wasn't the kind of bad deal that you see now. It was just a 3-year deal. I don't think you're going to have too many people who are going to tell stories of run-ins with hockey players. That's not to say it doesn't happen. It's just a different operation in the NHL. I've never really covered the NBA. If you remember Rob Desir, if Martin Kilcoyne were activated for this one, he would go into some good stories on this one, because he obviously had a relationship with Rob Desir, who was on Fox 2, and he was Martin's weekend guy. And Marshall Falk, for whatever reason, Marshall Falk hated Rob Desir. Rob Desir is now, I think, a news anchor in Washington, D.C., I think.
Damn.
Yeah. And anytime Rob would ask a question, Marshall Falk would come at him, and I would just watch. It was like a sport. And I'm like, oh, good. Rob's on the trip. We're in the bowels of Giant Stadium, and Rob's going to ask Marshall Falk a question. I'm just going to sit back and watch it go. Because Marshall Falk was a Banty Rooster anyway, but not necessarily in a mean-spirited way so much as he would challenge you. He wouldn't let a Calvin May kind of question and then go, oh no, good question. Right. Pronger did the same thing. He would challenge you.
With one exception, when the
girl asked what your chances are of winning the Stanley Cup after they were eliminated by the Sharks in the first round of the playoffs. Well, not so good, I would say, now that we've been eliminated.
Piddles was born that day.
Yeah, that might have been. Yeah, you were 2 years old.
Yeah, that's when I awoke.
But listen, I am sure it goes on. And I remember talking to Scott Rowland when he got to St. Louis, and we had a long conversation at spring training. And I'm curious, what's your deal with the media? And what happened in Philadelphia and there was one guy in Philadelphia, I think he's passed on, and I think he wrote for the Philadelphia Inquirer. And Rowland either preferred TV interviews or print interviews. It must have been TV, because he felt like print interviews, they could edit it and change,
manipulate them,
and not give any context. But again, he didn't really prefer them. He just, of the two, that's what he would do. And so, yeah, this really goes on. I don't know to the level now because I don't feel like it's kind of like it's what you always talk about, engagement farming.
That's right.
So it's going to be let me kind of use my hand on the public. And what I notice now is I feel like, maybe I read an anecdote from this relatively recently, is people are, not all of course, but some people are writing stories or broadcasting or podcasting for the audience as opposed to what they believe the story is. They want acceptability as opposed to any form of what used to be considered to be journalistic integrity, which now sounds like some semblance of an oxymoron. But I just like, most likely it's your boss telling you need to be active on social media, and therefore if you're going to be active on social media and you write a column that is critical of St. Louis in St. Louis, or you do a show that is critical of St. Louis or a team in St. Louis or a player in St. Louis, in this particular market, that does not play real well. Right. Now, it does in some corners of the market, but overall it doesn't. Now, on the other side of things, if you were to be working in Philadelphia or New York and you were to write pieces or broadcast and you were complimentary of the teams or organizations, that wouldn't necessarily play well there. So it's kind of a market-based strategy. But I think, in part, the way that people view things comes, of course, through the gatekeepers of the information and opinions, and that is the media. And if things are framed a certain way, then that is how people consume the information or the opinions. And oftentimes people are carrying water, I guess would be a way. Oh, this person will give me access, so I will write or broadcast positive things about them. Right. And so it is a really dirty game. And now that I'm hip to it, and I've seen what I think has transpired with regard to media when it matters, and I'm talking about news coverage, you see the way the game is played. And it's really dirty, because once a story's out there, that's what the public believes, even if a correction comes later. And I don't know what the solution to it is, but it is certainly worse than when I started and when we started doing this show, and that's mainly because of social media. Because again, where are you penalized if you are writing something that is incorrect? And I'm not talking necessarily about an opinion, but I'm talking about passing something off as fact, which was why I loved it when, Freddie Freeman's agent sued Doug Gottlieb.
That's right.
Like, good for you.
Yeah.
You're passing off something as fact that's not true. Here you go. You're going to do that?
Right.
Then here you go. This is the comeuppance. I wish it would happen more, because it would lead to more accountability in an industry that is, to me, at its deepest point of its septic tank in its existence, which again is really saying something.
Yeah, I feel like there is a way of being critical of especially when you're talking sports, of like a team or a player without it being personal, with like real facts behind it, real statistics behind it. But because the audience or the people who are consuming it, it's so short attention span, to get the proper nuance and context around it, you're going to lose people. And especially if in a print media or even, some pockets of broadcasting, you don't have the time or the ability to like just lose people's interest. And so what gets people's attention more is much more personal shots, much more grabby, hot takery, and that is part of it. And I think just having the awareness that like you said, like, I stopped playing baseball in the 6th grade. Like, it's going to be tough for me to say, hey, you Major League Baseball player who's been playing for 30 years, you stink. Like, you got to have like that moment of self-awareness. And I think that just builds your credibility when you are able to be critical without being like taking personal shots, and also admitting that you don't have the full context.
But the yelling or the personal shots is what gets attention. Right. And then therefore, oftentimes, and it's not direct, that will lead to, theoretically, an opportunity for more income. Mm-hmm. And so that is what is rewarded. Yeah. You don't necessarily see or read a lot of nuance from the people who are making, the most money nationally and oftentimes locally. I don't think that that's the case in St. Louis at the moment.
No.
Not that I'm privy to everybody's income and net worth, but I don't think you have that going on, at least from the people who people pay attention to. But it's a good question, because I suppose it could become tough. But if your North Star, so to speak, is the truth, then it doesn't matter if the truth fits with who you like and who you don't like, or who likes you and who doesn't like you. La Russa went after my ass plenty of times. Holy crap! But you still report what is the truth.
Right.
Right. So, but listen, I wouldn't fault people for taking, a player, a manager, a coach, going after him personally. The key is to not then write or broadcast or podcast a negative opinion of the person if they do that, which is not an easy thing to do.
Certainly. And I think the other side of that is, we always talk Gangster Pete's thing of don't take criticism from people who don't know you to heart. Don't take personal criticism so harshly. If you're going to do that, if you can't take that too personally, then you also can't distribute things on a personal level, in my opinion. You can't be I don't take things like these criticisms personally, but I'm going to criticize others on a personal level, especially when it comes to sports, too, because we don't know. What do they say? You don't question injuries and you don't make things personal.
Tim, you never finished the Ankiel at the picnic table story. That's from Plowsy's Dog Guy. And Plowsy's Dog Guy, this is just a little taste of QFTA, because it's like Hansel and Gretel. I have to leave breadcrumbs because I go off on tangents. So yeah, that's and it's just nuts. It's ridiculous. But good observation by Plowsy's Dog Guy, because that's true. So I'm sitting there, and Ankiel's sitting there, and I walk over, and I'm like, "What's up, man?" Seen each other a lot over the last 15 years. Haven't talked much.
Yeah, that book was 2017, by the way.
Okay, so so 16 years.
Right.
16 years, and he was totally good, totally cool. And then from that point forward, we would talk. We actually texted a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And 2021, I remember he was at the game at Roger Dean Stadium. It was like a night game, and I was there with my wife, and our second son wasn't born yet, and our older son, and just hanging out. And I saw him in the concourse in BS. So it was totally cool, but he really held a grudge. And again, it'd be one thing if I'm but whatever. I mean, I'm sure he has his perspective. He's not here to, and it wasn't the biggest deal in the world. He was a 21-year-old guy who had just experienced one of the most difficult effing things. And I guess he thought because, we were peers of some kind, because there weren't a lot of 23-year-old television reporters at that time. I think it's different now, I guess. I don't know. I don't get a chance to watch as much local TV.
It's different, yeah.
And he was a 21-year-old rookie on a veteran team. It was a veteran team, that 2000 team. He was like Will Clark's bitch when Will Clark came to St. Louis. He had Ankiel running and getting him Budweisers after games. Him and J.D. Drew. It was unbelievable. It was like watching Pledship. Where's J.D.? J.D., give me a Budweiser. And then he'd just sit there with a gut. And he would go after Dan Issa for some reason. Marshall Falk, Rob Pazier, Will Clark, Dan Issa. Strangest damn thing.
You never had that, a player that would just always challenge you when it comes to questions?
Pronger, but it wasn't personal, because Pronger and I, not to say we would hang out, but we would see each other out, and I remember when I first got to St. Louis in 2000, and I'm just intimidated by the whole thing, which is kind of funny, but whatever. I'm 23, and 3 weeks earlier I was covering the Little Rock Arena football team.
Arena football.
Yeah, it's the big time. And then I'm in the Blues locker room, and this is a great hockey team, and this is the President's Trophy winning team in 2000, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and the suits I was wearing, and I would always wear suits, but I was making no money, so the suits were probably $100 suits.
Yeah,
for real, probably $100 suits.
Prostate size tie.
That's right.
Windsor knot.
And I was stepping, and I guess I didn't realize what the rules of the room were. And I can recall it now. I've never talked to him about this, and we've developed a rapport over the years. I guess I was standing essentially in Jamal Mayer's locker, And he and I don't remember who the other guy was, were enamored with how crappy my suit was. So the whole time while I'm leaning in to get like sound from whoever it was, Pierre Turgeon, let's say, I can feel Jamal Mayers like pulling on this suit that looks like what Steve Harvey wears now on a 5 foot 1 inch guy who looks like he is 12 years old, and they're just giggling while they're pulling on this, and I'm like, man, this market isn't going to be easy.
Welcome to the big time, kid.
Yeah, welcome to the big time of being the number 3 guy at KMOV.
Yep. Having hockey players pull on your Men's Warehouse.
I think I got away with a lot of crap because I looked so young and harmless.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. I'm sure there's something to that too.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I think Graham Bensinger, to his credit, who's built a hell of a thing, but he was this young kid, and it's like Graham Bensinger has an interview with OJ. I go, the Graham Bensinger who's like 12? And I'm like, yeah. And I go, what the hell's that? I just
What
don't.
year was that?
When Graham Bensinger was like 12. I mean, it was a while ago, but he would land all these big interviews, and I'm sure if I was like my age now and Barry Bonds was playing when I did that Barry Bonds interview, there's no way in hell Barry Bonds does that interview. Right. Or if I was the age now, Bobby Knight wouldn't have entertained me like he did when that whole thing happened. So I think that I look back on it, and that was probably the reasoning. But I would piss LaRusse off. But again, LaRusse would get pissed off at anybody, and he just would take it out after a loss.
Yeah.
But when you were one-on-one with him, he couldn't have been better and was really in depth with his explanations on things. And I remember he had Jason Marquis start game 1 against the Dodgers in the 2004 NLDS. And I'm just sitting in his office. It's me and him, and I go, you're going to, and I look back and I go, what in the hell was I doing? But that was the relationship that I had with him, but a lot of people had with him. It wasn't just me. And I go, why are you going with Marquis in game 1? He goes, you ever look at his numbers on short rest? He goes, that sinker really sinks on short rest. And I go, okay.
Sinker really sinks.
Yeah, I guess if the arm isn't fully recovered, it makes a sinker more effective. I mean, what do I know?
That's TLR.
And then, sure enough, he goes out there and he deals. I mean, the Cardinals were a much better team than that Dodger team. And, there it is. And then that allowed him to set the rotation the rest of the way because they had lost Chris Carpenter. So it kind of set it. And then I remember there was one time Joel Quenneville, obviously a great coach, and this is before he won cups elsewhere, but just not knowing my ass from a hole in the ground with the hockey, and not necessarily to, the Piddle situation that oftentimes will come up.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But I go, I remember this one. I go, if you look at the top plus minuses around the league, you guys have a bunch of the guys who are in the top plus minus, and I think they were one of the best teams in the league. He goes, well, that's kind of the way it works when you win a lot of games. You're going to score more goals than the opposition, so therefore a lot of your players will have higher plus minus. And it was his very kind way of saying, boy, that's a really dumb question, and I know you know nothing about the game, but I won't dress you down. And I got done, I go, oh, wow. I guess, mathematically that would stand to reason.
I think it's a great question. I think that, you know what? I don't want Quenneville here. If he's going to be that condescending to a great question like that.
Thank you so much. Tim, my source from Marquette is tied up at the MAC currently, but confirmed 28's vitriol regarding Rob Desir. That's from the recovering alcoholic from Belleville and Webster Groves. Sounds like Martin, I guess he texted Martin to call in to talk about Marshall Faulk and Rob Desir. It was a whole thing. And now kind of like trying to reverse engineer what that was about, I wonder if both of them shared an interest in the same lady. That's if you had to explain, because it was just so personal. You'd go, Rob's a nice guy. His questions weren't, necessarily 60 Minutes caliber, but it's
plus minuses.
It's local. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't that good, but it's local television sports. We're not talking about Wizards here. And Falk would, no matter what he asked, jump his ass to the point that you'd be like, oh, Falk's going to talk. So that's great because Rob's here today. And I know Rob's going to ask him a question and then Falk's going to yell at him and it's going to be great. We'll just sit here.
You think Rob Desir would look in the mirror in the morning? He's like, you're going to have to ask that question of Falk.
Rob, I'm trying to compare Rob to somebody. Rob was a super nice guy. And it's not that he didn't care. He just didn't really he didn't like have the aware. He's like, man, that dude hates me, and I don't know what the deal is with it. You know. And then there was a time where Pete Peterson, who was the sports director at KTVI before Martin, got in a fight with Dan Issa in the Rams locker room.
Wild.
I mean, it's just
A lot of scrapping went
insanity.
on
Yeah,
at
a lot
that,
of
right?
scrapping at Rams Park with Brian McKenna took out Hadley there. Savard and Slayton
man.
fought there. I mean, it's just, or they were about to.
Lots
I'm
of
sure the Rams
testosterone.
are like, I mean, we're in like, we know we're going to LA anyway, but what are these guys doing in this flyover town? They're fighting each other out in our building.
And there's a landfill next to us that's burning. It stinks out here. The media's fighting each other.
Tim, the Graham Bensinger OJ interview was in 2008 when Graham was 22. Thank you very much. There you go.
22 years old.
And I was 23 talking to Barry Bonds. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't.
Crazy.
They're just not doing that. And you kind of, but now when you're 23 and you're interviewing Barry Bonds, you're like, look at me, I'm interviewing Barry Bonds. And now I look back on it and I go, he was like, why is this small boy in our clubhouse? That's what it was.
No, it's a good shroud. But I think there is something to an athlete who's so used to answering questions, usually from older guys who have a certain style of writing, and they see a younger guy who has like the same ambition or a lot of ambition that like a ball player might have, to a new job. And they'd be like, "Yeah, I'll talk to you. This is going to be different. It's a little more unique." And certainly with Bensinger because he was. So
I guess I remember Ray Lankford had a real problem with the St. Louis sports media, and I don't know what the deal was, but whatever. I just knew it, and so I'm like, "Oh, I got to get him for a sit-down interview," and he agreed to it. He goes, "I'm going to give you a chance," and I'm like, "Okay," and then I do the interview with him, and I made sure to thank him. And so we had a good rapport. It might have been 2001, but then he had a falling out with La Russa right around the trade deadline. And this is no BS. This really happened. I'm sure people could look it up to confirm it. So the Cardinals are playing a game, and Lankford just doesn't come to the ballpark. And somehow, which is weird to think that, because this was 2001, this is how the Cardinals wound up with Woody Williams, which wound up being great for the Cardinals. Somebody who, and I wasn't doing radio, so this is really weird, but somehow it was brought to my attention by somebody who maybe worked there or saw him there. Ray was at the bar at Bristol here on Olive watching the game while the Cardinals are playing, and he was in the starting lineup. The strangest damn thing in the world. And so I'm like, well, I mean, I got an obligation now to go to Bristol. So I let the news desk know at KMOV. They get me a photographer. We go out to Bristol on Olive, which is like, what, a quarter mile from where we are.
What's that?
And we get in the parking lot. Ray is now tipped off that we're out there. Kelly Johnson, who used to work at Channel 5, I think she's now in Washington, D.C., overheard me talking to the KMOV assignment desk, so she knew what was going on because of that. And she did the right thing. Stupid on my part if I really cared about this stuff to not talk privately where nobody else could hear me. So she was out there before I even got there from overhearing my conversation. What an industry. And so Ray walks out, and, then there's cameras on him. It's like, or like a Spago in L.A. When a Kardashian walks out.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not talking. And I can tell you, like, how'd you know I was here? So then I go back to the ballpark, and La Russa does his post-game thing, and I think I asked him away from cameras. I go, do you have any thoughts on Ray being at, not at the game? He goes, no, I mean, I understand he was working on some things. I go, well, he was eating at Bristol. He goes, what? I go, he's eating at a restaurant in Creve Coeur. He goes, okay. And then like 2 days later, they traded him for Woody Williams.
Yep.
They wanted Sterling Hitchcock. The Padres wouldn't trade Sterling Hitchcock. The Cardinals get Woody Williams, and Woody Williams winds up being incredible for the Cardinals for like 4 seasons. So thank you to Ray Lankford and the people at Bristol for tipping us off. Let's see. I love this story. Lankford was at the bar at Bristol. Yes, he absolutely was.
That's crazy. I couldn't imagine like being on the team and being like, nope, not going to the game, and I'll be out in public watching the game.
It's absolutely what happened. So, these things happen, and they're weird stories. You can't tell them in the moment. That's why. In part, I don't necessarily care to have guys who are currently on the teams unless they're at a point in their career where, like Brandon Crawford would probably be a great interview right now.
Yeah.
because he doesn't really, I don't want to say he didn't care. He got nothing to lose.
Sunset
like
of his
Chuck at the
career.
end of his career was just like, making fun of Larry Plow, and he'd come on. That's where thanks a lot, came from. But like a rookie's not going to step out of line.
Can't.
But let's talk to Jordan Walker in 15 years, and I have a feeling the interview would be different. It's just one of those things that time allows you to tell some of these stories. And these things happen because, again, I saw them with my own eyes, or I was on the receiving end of getting my ass ripped. But you just didn't take it personally, Yeah, you can't. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe it goes on. I guess it's got to go on. I suppose it's human nature. But if your main thing is I'm going to tell the truth, then you're not going to go, okay, now I'm going to make something up about this guy because he was mean to me. I mean,
Right.
F off if you're doing that stuff.
Yeah, you can't be doing that.
Let's see. Langford and LaRussa made up, and Ray came back out of retirement in 2004 to be the starting left fielder on opening day. Yes, he did. He came back and was part of that team in 2004. 2004 Game 7 NLCS afterwards, we got effed up with Ray King at Columbus. Columbos. Oh, how about that?
What's Columbus?
I think that's a place on Manchester and Dogtown, if memory serves.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I remember drinking that night, and then the next day flying to Boston. Well, in my case and Doug's case, came over. He was kind enough to fly us into Manchester, New Hampshire for the drive to Boston. Cardinals flew into Boston. I remember seeing them get there, and it was cold and rainy, and you could just tell a bunch of them were hungover. They're just like, oh, I hope the boys ratchet it up by the time the pitch comes out here in about 24 hours, because they're not feeling it right now. Let's see. Well, a lot of these stories are kind of like personal drunken athlete stories, and that's not necessarily what I'm telling here this morning. You can text in 314-881-TMA5. You can call in 636-9004-TMA, and you can email in for our Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. Design Air is online at designairservice.com. I got this email that I wanted to read to our audience from another listener with another wonderful Design Air experience. No surprise, but I enjoy when I get them. Let me see what I got here. Hi, Tim. I was going to text the show tomorrow, but I know you get a lot of texts and thought you might miss it. My furnace went out last night. Called Design Air at 10 a.m. today. The nice lady who answered said they would have somebody in our area on Monday. This email was sent to me yesterday afternoon. I said that was fine as the weather is warming. She then paused a second, looked at the weather, and said, no, it's going to be 30 degrees tonight. Give me a second. She came back on the line and said someone would be there this afternoon. Ben just left, and my furnace is fixed. The guy couldn't have been nicer. I've used them before and will continue to do so. My text name is Bill's Gentle Load. How about that?
Everybody's a Bill.
Yeah, there's a lot of Bills in the audience now.
Gentle Load.
And had a wonderful experience with Design Air Heating and Cooling. Yep, that's not a surprise. DesignAirService.com. Seth is fourth generation. No need for upselling when you have the reputation of taking care of your customers like Design Air does. I am a customer. Doug's a customer. Iggy's a customer. You can become a customer as well anytime you have an issue at DesignAirService.com, sponsor of our email of the day. Kevin Miller won the month of February. Brand new month. Underway now, and you can win a pair of tickets to see Primus and Coheed and Cambria with special guest Too Many Zoos on Saturday, August 3rd at St. Louis Music Park by winning the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. We will have our drops of the week coming your way. We have the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day coming up at the 9 o'clock hour, and then Jackson and I will deal with the situation down the hallway for Balloon Party at 10 o'clock on 101 ESPN. You are listening to TMA, presented to you by Brown and Crouppen.
Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, KPNT-FM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA All Day. Hey, if you like the morning after, check out Balloon Party on 101 ESPN, HD1, by the way. It's Sports Talk with Tim McKernan and Action Jackson from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. each weekday, right after the morning after. It's the worst named show in the history of radio, but the content's pretty good, so check it out on 101 ESPN or get the podcast on the TMA app.
Biggie's Restaurant and Bar has been a staple of the community for over 30 years and is serving your favorites like the steak sandwich, waffle fries, and so much more. It's not just the food that's rocking. With a full bar and patio, Biggie's is the perfect spot for lunch, dinner, and a little laughter. Biggie's original hours are back. Open 11 a.m. till midnight, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And 11 a.m. till 1 a.m. on Friday and Saturday. Check out the full menu at biggiesrestaurant.com and stop in today.
Hey, this is Tim McKernan, and I am here with a great TMA sponsor, and that is Longo Biggs Injury Law Firm. And you may hear a bunch of out-of-state law firms advertising here and there all over on billboards and so on and so forth. But the thing is, oftentimes their goal is to just settle and move on, and that's not what you guys do.
Yeah, this is CD Longo, and you hear us talking a lot about maximizing the value of cases, but what does that actually mean? Well, as Tim said, there's lots of personal injury lawyers in St. Louis, and everyone handles cases differently. We focus on getting the highest dollar amount for your injuries, not just getting a resolution quickly. We're constantly tracking all the settlements and verdicts in the area. This helps us advise our clients on whether a settlement offer is too low. And if the amount of compensation being offered is too low, we are happy to file lawsuits and proceed to trial to ensure our clients receive an amount that is fair. Visit our website or Google us at Longo Biggs Injury Law.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
TMA listeners have a lot to think through financially. Saving for retirement and college while also paying bills and enjoying life along the way. Call Mark Hanna. Mark works with you to design a strategy to do your finances right. It's a straightforward approach that starts with a 15-minute phone call to discuss your needs. Visit evergreenstl.com or give Mark a call at 314-889-0503 today. Mark Hanna offers securities through Equitable Advisors, LLC, member FINRA, SIPC, a broker-dealer. Equitable Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Evergreen Wealth Strategies is not a registered investment advisor and is not owned or operated by Equitable Advisors or Equitable Network.
Hey, this is Tim McKernan, and I am here with James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency. James, I love getting emails from listeners who support the sponsors. Got one from a client of yours who switched, and you immediately saved him $1,000, and it meant the world to him.
The area that we're really having an impact on people's finances are people with drivers under the age of 25. We are seeing material savings for these types of clients, hundreds, if not even thousands of dollars per year.
James Carlton, Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, 314-961-4800, or go online at carltoninsurance.net. The Illinois Recovery Center is dedicated to providing precise and authentic care to those seeking help and treatment. Recovery, it's not just a goal, it's a transformative journey. At Illinois Recovery Center, you'll find an unwavering commitment to provide the support, guidance, and personalized care you or your loved one needs to rediscover a life filled with purpose, strength, and lasting renewal. If you or someone you know wants more information about the Illinois Recovery Center, please call 888-472-9559 or visit IllinoisRecoveryCenter.com. Hey, this is Tim McKernan, and I am here with Seth Goldcamp of Design Air Heating and Cooling, and I have been a long-time Design Air client. What separates you guys from everybody else?
It's becoming more common for companies to just get their foot in the door. They try to come up with different ways to upsell. They try to see how much they can make off of a customer as opposed to, hey, we're in there to do a service. We're going to do it well. We're going to do it for a fair price.
I don't know how many emails I have received from our listeners who experience the incredible customer service Design Air Heating and Cooling provides. It's Design Air Heating and Cooling, online at designairservice.com.
Here's Action Jackson with 3 more ways to get TMA content.
Get the TMA mobile app and enable notifications so you don't miss a thing. See our content on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And stream us on the TMA mobile app and at TMASTL.com.
Thanks, Jackson. It's the Brown and Crouppen Morning After on 105.7 FM HD2.
Urban Dictionary defines thirsty as purposely, knowingly, and recklessly attempting to gain fame to boost self-esteem. So, are you thirsty? Well, TMA has you covered. Become a part of the TMA Listener of the Month Club. You nominate yourself for a monthly award. And if you win, you get recognition and stuff to help you satisfy that insatiable thirst. We're talking January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, etc. Go to TMASTL.com or the TMA app. Give us your name, a photo, and other pertinent information. Tell us why you deserve to be TMA Listener of the Month. And if you don't want to use your real name or photo, we don't really care. The TMA Listener of the Month. Get recognized just for being you or fake you or whatever. Quenched by Milagro Tequila. Welcome to the brighter side of tequila with Milagro in the morning after on KPNT HD2.
105.7 HD2. It's the Brown and Crouppen Morning After.
Welcome back to TMA, presented to you by Brown and Crouppen. Timothy Michael McKernan, Jackson Burkett in for the vacationing Douglas, Elvin Vaughn, Plowhawk, Ken Strode not available today. KG in O-Town is in the Fox C6R1 studios, and we welcome you to text into the program 314-881-TMA5. Call in 636-9004. TMA, and you can email in for our Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. It is Friday, and that means it is time for the drops of the week.
Morning after. Drops of the week.
Yeah, you gotta drop it like a hot dog.
It's a wonderful drop.
Indeed it is.
Clip that off.
Clip that off.
Clip that off.
I tried to type the word might, M-I-G-H-T, and the spell corrected to kinky.
Just tell me it's a strap-on.
We'll decide what we're attracted to in here.
We like thick men.
I'm going to go to a glory hole. Just tell me you're a girl.
So we're talking sports, baby.
That's my kink. I don't know who it is. It may be a guy. Just tell me it's a girl.
That's the show, huh?
So this is the show, huh?
Again, I'm enjoying the show.
Picture a guy getting in a bathtub on all fours and getting fingered.
Don't tell Doug Vaughn to take it easy.
Oh, I can feel the whiskers. You know nothing about anything.
I don't know how much sex you have in prison. It's Iggy's turn. Have some long-winded explanation, hitting fairways and making putts.
Chuck, I guess you want to tell us about your penis size, huh?
Hey, we're getting married in the bathroom. Hey, you might want to come out. We're getting married in the bathroom. Please, look at us. Oh, look at that. Look at this, look at that.
Why don't you quit?
Why don't you shut up?
That's so good. Welcome to the show, man.
I had a lot of eyes on.
Yeah.
That was Drops of the Week.
Who put that one together? Jackson, it was outstanding work.
Yeah.
It was a really nice finish.
It was a
subtle finish.
All about the big finish as always. Yeah. Doug was on fire this week.
Let's see what I got here. I like these links, KG in O-Town. I don't know if you were the one who sent them. It's from
KG
your
sent
email
them.
account.
Yeah, I did the links today.
Chiefs players roasting their team owner this week. Pat McAfee says his comments about ESPN were a warning shot. And then women are loving men who embrace a baby girl vibe and ditch toxic masculinity.
I think you found a winner.
You know what? I'll yield right there. I was going to go to the dais and let people vote, but I don't know what the hell does anybody know what the baby girl vibe is? What's a baby girl vibe?
I just know, and I have a feeling I know this article is going to be about Jacob Elordi from, he was in Saltburn and Euphoria. They always call him baby girl. And I guess that just means.
Well, what is he doing that he's a baby girl?
I guess it's like a situation where a guy is a little bit more in
vulnerable,
touch.
Yeah, embracing your feminine side.
Yeah,
All
there
right.
you go.
All right, let's see what I got.
Like
here.
a softer man.
Being so baby girl is the hottest compliment for men. A 26-year-old, 6'5" man isn't what comes to mind for most Americans when they think of a baby girl. But it is for Gen Z. Jacob Elordi was deemed so baby girl during his promotion as host of Saturday Night Live when musical guest Renee Rapp and cast member Bowen Yang made the decree. The Australian actor has joined the ranks of other heartthrobs, including Pedro Pascal, Timothy Chalamet. He's a jawline king?
I've taken away his crown.
Ah!
It's gotten a little softer. I've given the crown to Christian McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey's the jawline king.
Yep.
Who knew that?
Cut a steak with that man's jawline.
And the White Lotus actor Leo Woodall being associated with the moniker leading to confusion for some and crushes for others. A new definition of the term baby girl has recently been adopted, remaining as a term of endearment, but expanding to include a specific type of swoon-worthy man. A man who is baby girl comes across as sweet, charming, a bit bashful, and seemingly in touch with their feminine side, ready to talk about their feelings or carry a purse to brunch at any point. It's exactly what women want and men want to become. The antithesis of toxic macho masculinity. Quote, traditionally highlighting feminine qualities in men has been a put down, but this doesn't seem to be the case with baby girl, which almost has a celebratory quality that comes from a Columbia University-educated sex expert. For one, Gen Z is much more fluid when it comes to gender and sexuality than older generations, encouraging rather than condemning, blurring the lines around previously restrictive boxes separating masculine and feminine. And it's not just about being emotional either. Whether it's Elordi's purses, Pascal's shorts, or Chalamet's sequins, these men proudly parade their traditionally feminine touches, and admirers are loving it in return. Heterosexual women, especially Gen Zers, are, quote, rusting, which means, do you know what that means?
I've never heard that term.
Romanticizing and lusting after men they consider to be baby girl. I had no idea about any of this. Consider me educated. Jackson, is baby girl all the rage?
I knew it was a thing with Jacob Elordi that they were calling him baby girl, and I guess that, and I think they were also calling cousin Greg from Succession big baby girl energy. So it's like a man who you could still like find conventionally attractive, but are certainly not as like you can't imagine them out in the woods, doing some duck hunting or something. Which I'm not saying. There's plenty of women who think that is very attractive. I don't think it's all of Gen Z wants guys who wear a purse, and all of older people don't like that. I mean, blanket statements are never a good idea. But I do understand that trend is more in vogue at the moment.
Baby girls have a 48-hour rule on anal. That's from the Crystal City Clamhammer. Do you consider yourself to be baby girl?
I don't think you can consider yourself. Like, I think you have to be deemed.
I think I'm hot.
Yeah. I don't think anyone's disagreeing. Like Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal.
yes.
Is like. I've also heard Pedro Pascal is like now America's Zaddy.
What?
Zaddy, yeah, with a Z. Like he's like got like a little bit of dad energy, but like you'd still want to get a beer with him, and like girls find him attractive, very talented.
A lot of people are saying you're baby girl.
Is that right?
Yeah.
All right.
Mr. Siders, your opponent in the first round of the J. Randolph Jr. Fan Page
That's
Club
what you get in your
Championship.
head.
It doesn't bother me in the slightest.
I think it's a compliment, Jackson. I got a little baby girl to me.
Is that right?
Yeah. I'm in touch with that side. Wear a pearl necklace from time to time.
That's right, yeah.
One you can take off or have to wash off.
Flip it off. Hey, Tim, you've got an almost 26-year-old, 6'1" baby girl right there on the dais. Also a fancy picture house lad. That's from Big Tuft, and he says baby girls are also afraid of giving blood and can't look at the needle. That's in reference to QFTA.
Jax, I think we should start a podcast, Baby Girl Radio.
Ooh,
I wouldn't be bad. I mean, but like, is it like, what would it be? Like, I don't like wear a purse. I guess like because I like the arts. That makes me baby girl.
Yeah,
that wasn't really referenced in the column.
The arts.
It seems like you kind of like dress in like what would have historically been feminine clothes. That's the vibe I'm getting from reading this column, which I knew nothing about this whole thing.
Women wanted to be like him. Guys wanted to be with him.
There's an audio clip of Baby Girl. It's that.
Yeah, so Arnold Palmer was baby girl. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I wear cardigans.
That's baby girl.
I wear cardigans.
I guess.
Really? I mean, I feel like that's like an old man thing.
No, it's how he wears it.
Well, like I like brush my hair back.
You know who's a baby girl? That bitch Kai. And I've been telling you boys this for years. That's the recovering alcoholic from Belleville and Webster Groves.
First guest on the podcast, Sweet Kai.
I'd love that.
Is he baby girl?
I guess I could ask his special lady friend, but I don't know. I maybe. I don't know. Like this, usually I'm pretty good on these and identifying who is who. This one I'm having some trouble with because I did not think Pedro Pascal was baby girl. I thought he was America's Zaddy.
Yeah, I was about to say, isn't he like...
He's like in his mid-40s.
I was about to say, I was thinking he was in his mid-40s. He's 48.
Yeah.
He's older than me.
Yeah, and I mean...
he's baby girl?
I guess. He's all over the place. You can't turn on your TV without seeing him, so I guess. I just thought he was America's Zaddy. Like Tom Hanks used to be America's Zaddy.
Really?
Yeah, like in the early 2000s.
I don't really feel like women wanted to sleep with Tom Hanks.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's like... I think they want to like be married to Tom Hanks. They want to be married to Pedro Pascal.
Is that right?
Like these are the men they want to spend their life with, not necessarily like the guy you want to jump in the sack with.
Yeah, but
maybe I'm wrong.
When you put Z on it, Zaddy implies the sleeping with.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's conventionally handsome.
If you go to the movies at Plaza Frontenac, you're baby girl. That's from the Warson
Fine.
Wacko.
It's fine. Rather watch that stuff.
I think you have to be hot to be a baby girl, and that leaves all of you except Tim out of the club. That's from Cucky the Dwarf.
Fair enough.
Would these descriptions make Iggy a grandma girl? That's from Gary Pinkel's cell phone etiquette. I don't know what that means. It's baby girl to stay in the same room with the most famous porn star in Jamaica and not get laid. That's from Steven Time.
It's fine.
I'm sure
That's your
Steven would have got the
response to
job
him today.
done.
Sometimes you go after him, sometimes you just think
Like,
that's
I don't know.
fine.
What am I supposed to say? Like, all these guys, yeah. I was a better.
Yeah.
I got a
Go
30.
with it.
I got a 42-inch waist, and I was.
Oh, now you're fat. Right there. You fat shamed. Right there. I
Well,
caught
I felt like it was in vogue.
caught
I
it.
you know what? I regret it now, but it was how I felt in the moment, Tim.
Oh no, don't regret that.
Hugh Beaumont was the original baby girl. Submissive mustache, but hung dong like a damn stallion. What the hell are we even talking about anymore? That's from Admiral Pegger, Esquire.
I feel like Jimmy Stewart had a lot of baby girl energy.
I didn't know about this until 10 minutes ago. Why is society obsessed with making up these words? That's from Wedding Tackle.
Who's obsessed? I mean, it's
Wedding Tackle, who's obsessed?
article
Call it.
in the New York Post. It's not a-
9004 TMA. I wonder. I don't think. You know. I mean, I'm not. It might surprise some people. I'm not hanging out with women in their 20s. But I don't think women in their 30s and 40s, at least those who I'm familiar with, wouldn't necessarily be into this. And by the way, I know you at 25 aren't necessarily looking for women in their 30s and 40s, so it's fine. But I'm just like, I don't think that's the deal. They might want a younger guy just to, have a nice session with,
Right.
but not a guy who's carrying a handbag.
Sure, and
clutch.
That to me, that part, like I don't know on that necessarily, but I do like.
I feel pretty confident on that, but
no,
I could
I'm
be
not.
off.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about like I don't see Pedro Pascal ever have a purse, but I don't know.
Well, that's what they say. They talk about Pedro
And,
Pascal's.
He has his shorts. He had the shorts at the Met Gala, but I just see like
in a red top coat.
I'm sure for every woman in like my age group that likes the baby girl energy, there's another one.
Do you know some girls who do?
I'm sure, probably not off the top of my head, but I'm sure that if I put Jacob Elordi is also like a very
Text her
attractive
love
man.
interest and text her this link and see
All
what
right.
she says. I assume she's around your age. It'd be a big reveal if she was like 48 and I like knew her from St. Joe's or something.
She's my age. Yeah. All right, I'll show you a text. And but like, I'm sure for every woman who likes the baby girl, there's one who likes a more rugged man who's out there in the elements, roughing it.
But what I'm okay, I'll take it back to 20 years ago for me. This was not a thing,
Right.
So this is a new phenomenon, if indeed it's true. And I don't know if this was maybe more of a New York or LA thing. I don't, I just don't see a lot of guys in the St. Louis area with handbags. But maybe I'm not in the right spots. And then like women going, oh man, check out that guy's clutch.
But like Luther Burden wears something like that all the time. He has a Louis V
but he's a
bag.
Heisman Trophy candidate,
Right.
I'm talking about like a guy trying to get laid at Wheelhouse. Working at Enterprise.
Well, he's trying for his own Heisman, Tim, and we're not going to shame him. Yeah, I don't know on like either the handbag thing.
They're practical.
I'm not however you want.
Sometimes
to express
supposed to have
yourself.
cargo pockets like the cat.
Oh, is that right?
Cargo pants are coming back. But like when you say that now some of that stuff is more accepted widely from a society standpoint than it was when you were 25.
What's more widely accepted than I was 25?
Like some of the stuff that's in that article, like from a societal standpoint, over the last 20 years.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
100%. No question about that. But just because it's accepted by society more so than it was in 2004, that doesn't then make people attracted to it.
Right. I see.
Because that's more biochemical.
Sure. But if that is more prevalent, then some girls might find out that that's what they like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I suppose. I'm trying to. I know that we have a heavy female demographic.
Yes, indeed.
So maybe this conversation would be better for Balloon Party.
Please talk baby girl on Balloon Party.
Here's the issue with it, KG in O-Town. I couldn't deliver it without breaking.
Dig deep.
I know. I mean, that would put me to the test.
I'd be curious.
There's no. You actually have a better chance of being able to deliver it than I do without like breaking.
Let me shoot video of you doing it today.
Yeah, maybe I should have. Because immediately, I mean the pure anger for the story. If I deliver it like dead straight, will be perhaps unlike anything we've seen in that text inbox.
I want this really badly right now.
I do it. I don't give a damn.
I know you don't, but I mean, it's almost like such an obvious prank. You know?
Right.
I mean, what the hell is this?
Oh, yeah. But like, I've already... But
the best is all we do on that show, I mean, almost all we do on that show is talk sports.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's your questions. I mean, you're carrying the damn thing. And then I just answer them, and I just, it's Adderall time. And, we usually don't get through all 6 of them. But because of the way we talk about sports, we don't talk sports for a certain sect of that audience appropriately. It's very interesting to me. It might not be interesting for anybody else because you don't see what we see. But I'm like, so if you say opinions that you don't like, then you're not talking sports.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
yeah. Why don't you guys talk about sport? Well, all we've
so
done...
what do you want me to do? Like break down the Blues power play against Edmonton?
Damn
I mean,
right.
I'm going to appeal to like 0.3% of the listening audience.
Yeah.
That isn't the game, brother. The F. Yeah.
People want baby girl talk, so let's bring it.
God, I think I would break.
I'll
start giggling like Jimmy Fallon.
I'll identify like St. Louis athletes who give off baby girl vibes.
Tyler O'Neill.
Saying clothes are making a comeback is baby girl. That's from Mr. Mr. Siders is very activated. That's your opponent in the first.
Yeah, this guy. He's gonna have to change up his tude when we get it out there.
Can't wait to see this
on
guy's
the links. I'm gonna need a more positive pairing of this.
I'm a hot lady in my 50s. I'd love to F, marry, kill the dais. Marry Tim and Doug, kill everyone else, then F their asses necro style? That's from Joan Jett's groping hand with a kind of a non sequitur. But once I saw I'm a hot lady in my 50s, I read it, and then I got bait and switched.
Of course.
I got bait and switched right into it.
That's nice that she would marry both you and Doug. That would be an interesting...
Yeah, what an arrangement it'd be. Zaddy, typically a guy who's older than you, but sexy AF. He makes you excited just by thinking about him. You even considered having his baby. He spoils you rotten. He treats you right, and he Fs you even better. That's from the O'Fallon Possum.
Mm. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought.
Yeah, I think that's spot on.
That's why I thought Pedro Pascal was. So
he Fs well?
What?
He Fs well? He Fs well?
Probably.
Yeah.
He was really just very sexually open in Game of Thrones. He's banging everybody.
Baby girls are probably the same losers that put he/him in their email signature.
Yeah,
that's
really
your favorite texter, Eric, in the Central West.
Really pisses people off.
Are there people who put he/him in email signatures?
Yeah, 100%.
I don't see. I see it on the Twitter tweets.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, 100%. Probably a lot of it is company mandated.
Is that right? Really?
I mean, but at the same time, like, oh no, what an invasive of my rights.
Let's see what else. Boy, they're coming in fast and furious. My understanding of baby girls seems to be less about materialism and accessories, but rather emotional vulnerability and self-understanding. That's from Deke Dotem too.
Yeah,
Deke's spot on.
Yeah, I think that's more. I think the superficial element of it is certainly there, but that part is.
So I was listening to, I mean, as you might imagine, I'm not in the dating pool. It wouldn't be the greatest strategy. And so I don't know how this whole song and dance is working now, but I was saying, I think I said it on the show, that I was listening on my way out here to Bill Maher and Whitney Cummings' podcast, and she's probably, I guess she's around my age too. Maybe she's in her 50s. Hell, I don't know. Point being, she's at least in her 40s. And she's like, well, this was a different era before men asked if they could kiss you. Is that the deal now?
Asking?
Yeah.
I've never asked.
Okay. All right. I didn't know if I'm like, oh, God, is that the deal?
I have a buddy who would, but it was like kind
Who's
of like,
that, Oatmeal?
It's kind of a joke. I'm not going to air him out. But it was it was always kind of a joke. Like, it wasn't like he was doing it like he was like looking longly in their eyes saying like, can I kiss you? It was like a joke kind of thing.
My stepdad Chet enjoys mouthing my purse. I enjoy his rough cat-like tongue. What do the Gen Zers call us now? That's from Admiral Pager Esquire, he/him.
That's a tough one.
Manuel might be zaddy. Plowhawk, you love Manuel, and the ladies love his uncut member. Do you think he's zaddy? I think he's in my age range as well.
He's getting up there in that mid-40 range, so he's probably a contender.
Does he have a Wikipedia? You think Manuel Ferrara has a Wikipedia?
Does Caden, you think?
I would think so.
Yeah, then I bet he does.
All right. Yes, he does. And he is 48 years old. There you go.
Oh, him and Pedro Pascal, both the same age.
Zaddy.
Yep.
Zaddy season.
Yeah, Pascal is certainly in that
too.
category. Killian, obviously, for me, is right in that wheelhouse.
You would call Killian zaddy?
Yeah. Yep. Oppie and Zaddy.
I always ask my brother before I kiss him.
Well, that's family's different.
That's from Eric.
What am I talking about?
In the Central West End. Jackson, let's see who we're going to wager on this weekend. Where should I place said wager?
Oh, that's Circa Sports, Tim. That is Circa Sports, the world's largest sports book in Las Vegas. Is now in Illinois. That's right. If you live here in the St. Louis metro area, you might live in Illinois. If that's the case, you're in great shape. Just sign up. If you live here on the Missouri side in St. Louis, you just make the short drive across the river over to Illinois and sign up for the Circa Sports app, because the Circa Sports app is sports betting the way it should be, with big app bets, high betting limits, tight money line splits, and the best customer service around. You won't talk to a chat bot if you run into any issues with Circa. Nothing more frustrating, especially when it's talking about money, when you're dealing with a chat bot. No. You're going to talk to real people, the same people that run the Circa Resort out there in Las Vegas. And the big dance is coming right around the corner. It's anyone's game, babe. There's no real clear number one. Teams are getting knocked off left and right. Buzzer beaters like crazy. You know that March Madness is going to be exactly that, madness. So why don't you do some wagering with the Circa Sports app, which is, of course, now available in Illinois. Visit circasports.com for more details and get ready to start betting like a pro. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
There it is. And I would tell you about Glenn Betts Jewelers. Sometimes you just want to take care of the special person in your life just because. Those are the gifts that are most well received. Just because. Well, Glenn Betts can help you with that. They're on Manchester, in De Pere, about a mile east of the Manchester and 270 exit, and they're online at glennbettsjewelers.com. GLENNBETZ jewelers.com. Going back to 1941, that's the Betts family in St. Louis in the jewelry business, and now run by the third and fourth generation of the Betts family, and that is Craig and David Betts at Glenn Betts Jewelers. They get to know you there. They get to know what you like, your lifestyle, the things you love, the things important to you, to your family, and then you become family at Glenn Betts Jewelers. So, if you're thinking about getting engaged, or if you just want to get somebody in your life a gift just because, go to Glenn Betts Jewelers. It's glennbettsjewelers.com, located on Manchester in De Pere, with plenty of parking right behind the building. It's Glenn Betts Jewelers. Send your emails in for our Design Air Heating and Cooling email today. First email of the day competition for the month of March. And this is an opportunity for you to beat defending champion Kevin Miller. Get on the leaderboard early and set a trend early. Plus, you win a pair of tickets to see Primus and Coheed and Cambria with special guest Too Many Zoos on Saturday, August 3rd at St. Louis Music Park. That is the prize for our Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. The morning after at InsideSTL.com. That is where you can compete for our Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. 28 years ago today, Wayne Gretzky played his first game with the Blues. Is that right? Is that what I see in the audio here?
Yesterday, I believe.
Yesterday. I was watching that game in Willie's in Columbia, and we have Ken Wilson's "Oh Baby" call.
Not great audio. It is a little old, but it was nice to reminisce a little bit.
Blues goal, by the way. McGinnis is 13th at 13:40 from Power, Chuck, and Creighton. A power play goal. The puck deep in the blue zone, kicked away, and then finally shot to center ice. Puts on to the penalty box. Feeds Gretzky. He's got a breakaway. Fakes. He shoots. He scores! Wayne Gretzky, a breakaway goal against Kurt McLean. Number 99 has the first of many with the St. Louis Blues. Oh, baby, it's 2-0. Blues here in Vancouver, and Wayne Gretzky is all smiles back on the Blues bench.
How do you do?
Unbelievable.
99. with the note, not a long run, but people were fired up, as you might imagine.
Oh, well, let me say something here.
Go ahead. Anytime we can get you to give your perspective on ice hockey, the kids gather around and listen.
I know the uniforms were bad with the red thing going on with the Blues. I know some people like it, but I think most of us can agree that not the best. However, the V-neck hockey sweater with the turtleneck that they would wear, that Gretzky wore especially, is an outstanding look. I mean, that is fun.
Oh, yeah.
The white turtleneck under the jersey is outstanding. With the V-neck, huge fan. Bring that back.
Just seeing him with that team, and they were a goal away from getting to the Western Conference Final. I gather they would have played against the Avalanche if that was 96. Oh, my God. Blues and Avalanche in the Western Conference Final with Wayne Gretzky. That's why that goal, John Casey, Steve Yzerman. Whew. That's I know you're doing the top 30 moments in St. Louis sports
Over the last 30
over the last 30 years on your Instagram account, St. Louis Starter Packs. But if you were to do the worst moments in St. Louis sports over the last 30 years, that has to be in there. It's not the worst, but I think it's top 10. I think it's top 10.
Really? The great one gave the puck away, didn't he?
There was a giveaway in the neutral zone, KG in O-Town. That is correct.
How many goals you think the great one had with the Blues?
Ooh, that's a nice little question. I got to
6.
I'm going to take the over on 6, but I don't know if it'd be a whole lot more because he didn't play. I mean, obviously, his first goal was, February 28th?
Mm-hmm.
So, the Price is Right play would be to say 7, but I'm going to go with 9.
Jackson?
I mean, yeah, I'll throw out a number. 12. I'll give the great one a little more.
Iggy, what do you got? Maybe you know.
13.
Oh, he Price is Right. He did the right thing, though. It's the right way to compete.
8 goals.
Plowhawk wins. I mean, I was close, but I overbid.
-6 with the Blues.
You had a -6?
Yep.
Wow.
This question coming in Ken Rosenthal's mailbag regarding the Cardinals and Jordan Montgomery. Now that one of the unsigned free agents represented by Boris accepted a pillow contract, what are the chances his other clients follow suit? Is there any chance the Cardinals sign Jordan Montgomery to a similar deal? Maybe something like a 4-year, $85 million contract with year 1 at $25 million and then 3 consecutive player options at $20 million per year. Montgomery's time in St. Louis helped him build his value, and Busch Stadium's a pitcher's park, which should keep his numbers strong. Rosenthal writes, from what I am hearing in conversations with Major League sources, it does not sound like Montgomery will accept a pillow contract like the one Bellinger signed. I'm told there are multiple teams that would give Montgomery a longer-term contract. The Red Sox had a video call with Montgomery recently, and I'm told the conversation went well. The Red Sox have plenty of financial flexibility and at this point might be considered the front-runner to land him. However, it's believed Montgomery would prefer to re-sign with Texas, and if he were to accept a shorter-term deal, I think the Rangers are the only team where that could happen, and he'd at least consider that type of offer. Also, it doesn't sound like Montgomery is interested in a return to St. Louis. Oh.
Shocking.
I had to let the Plowhawk react there before I continued on. And the Cardinals have already signed 3 free agent starters this offseason. So there's that from Ken Rosenthal. I guess the Jordan Montgomery I don't know how many people were really thinking that might happen, but on the off chance, if he isn't interested, then it isn't going to happen. And I don't know if the Cardinals are really going to make it happen anyway themselves.
Yeah, to spend, 25 at least more million this year on the guy would be out of the realm of possibility. It would send way over $200 million in payroll. Yeah, no, what you got, this rotation is what it is. Plowhawk, get ready to settle in, baby.
Yeah, Montgomery would change a lot of that. Like if you would just...
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, it would look amazing,
It would be very... but doing the kind of deal that Bellinger did, where if Montgomery performs, he opts out, it would fit the Cardinals kind of, what from my standpoint is obvious, they're going 1 year.
Yeah.
That's their thing. Now they would take on the risk of Montgomery not performing, and then he's like, okay, well, I'm just going to sit here and make my whatever for the next few years.
Okay, well, they've done that for years. Cecil, Andrew Miller.
I get it, but the reasoning, I believe, this year is the instability with the television situation, and that's why they're doing these short-term deals. People, I understand, don't like it, but I think that's the strategy. So if Montgomery performs poorly, then now they're stuck with him, I suppose. I just don't... It would, yeah. I would have a different perspective on the Cardinals in 2024 if they signed Jordan Montgomery. I just kind of don't expect them to go down that road. But as the person presents, if Montgomery goes, crap, I got to get something, and the Cardinals are willing to do it, then it would make sense. Because that's the kind of deal that would work for the Cardinals. By the way, I mean, I want to make this clear. I feel like you asked me about this on 101 yesterday. Spring training results,
Grain of salt.
But the Cardinals really aren't doing a whole lot of scoring over the last week. I don't know. It's not like teams are scoring a bunch of runs against them. I don't know if the wind's blowing in there. It looks like it's fine.
Other teams are scoring. The teams are playing.
Well, I mean, they've lost 3-1, 3-0, 3-3 against the Red Sox, 1-1 against the Marlins, and then 3-0 against the Astros. Now, the first couple games they scored runs, but I don't know. The spring training results thing, they could be killing it or they could be doing terrible, and I'm not going to. The thing I keep an eye on more often in spring training are guys, if there are guys who are in the mix for a spot, but they need to prove themselves. The Cardinals' situation is kind of already solidified. It really is. There just isn't a whole lot of question marks. The rotation, whether we like it or not, is kind of set. I suppose the bullpen is where you can monitor things. And the position players, for the most part, are set.
Yeah, is there a competition out there anywhere?
That
for
is
a spot?
so rare, especially for a team with an 84 win projection.
Right.
And
the shortstop who's yet to play more than a month in Major League Baseball, but he's very much solidified, and he's swinging it well. But again, it's all grain of salt stuff.
Chicago Ginger says the Cardinals are the only team not to hit home run in spring training.
That's
nice whitey ball. Without the speed.
Not wanting to play for the Cardinals is baby girl. That's from Steven time.
Yeah, that is. I guess wanting to play for
a better team. You're more manly because you win.
Playing for Baltimore seems very baby girl at the moment.
Hello.
Yeah.
I'm texting through the app. Testing. Thanks. That's it. Great show again. Winter's over. That's from the 618.
Well, they haven't texted in 6 months.
The only 2 games that have hurt my soul, Stevie Y over John Casey, that's the 96 Blues Red Wings with Gretzky, and Tyus Edney, coast to coast. Boy, Jackson, it might be a good thing you weren't alive for that.
I know. I can't take much more heartbreak in
Some
that
of the
regard.
1980s, 1990s Missouri NCAA tournament exits would have ended you.
I know it. I mean,
You've got really one bad one.
Oh, yeah, but that one
in 2012
crushed my young soul.
But yeah, it was like a regular thing for Missouri to get bounced early from a high seed in the 80s and 90s, unfortunately. And in that case against Edney, they were I think 8 or 9 seed against a 1 seed.
Yeah, my real baptism into it, they made the Elite Eight, so I was really actually fortunate in that regard, and that was a good team.
I asked my wife for our first kiss behind Pete Hefner's shed. She conceded. 25 years later, I'm asking her if she can please ask her boyfriend to quit using my closet like his own personal Old Navy discount rack. Starting to wish she'd told me to get bent. That's from Joan Jett's groping hand.
Who the hell's Pete Hefner?
Well, I
The
just
guy
read
with
it
the
in
shed?
teleprompter.
What? Is Pete Hefner the one who's using the closet?
All I can do is read what they said in the prompter. Let's see. Do the Cardinals still employ that tubby, poor-hitting outfielder who looks like he was plucked off of Field 4 at Wapplehorse Park? That's from Al in Dadeville. I think that's in reference to Alec Burleson, I think. And yes, he is still on the...
He could be a potent bat. I'll tell you that much. A little optimist over here.
Guys, I saw Jordan Montgomery playing golf at Forest Park Redbud with Dylan Carlson 2 years ago. I was headed to the green on 7. Them, 6 tee box. We made eye contact. I think love of that track and me will bring him back to St. Louis. That's from Chairman Steve.
That's a long distance to be locking eyes with 2 guys. You got at least 215
I don't know my
yards.
course. I don't know my Forest Park courses.
Redbud's the one
played
along
them all.
Skinker.
There's one that's flat that I feel like you could be a 10 handicap and shoot under par there.
It's very easy. Hawthorne. It finishes with that hole over the water right behind the pro shop. That's what Hawthorne does. Redbud is
also very gettable.
Redbud is the one along Skinker. I would call it the hardest of the 3 nines.
Okay.
6.
Oh yeah, it is. 6
is a long par 3 with a weird fishbowl kind of green, and then 7 is that par 4 that all fades to the right, postage stamp green.
Got it. All right. Well, Stephen Wild would hit it off with.
That's such a long distance to be like
Yeah, 6 is tough, man.
6 is a hard hole, and it's far away from the 7 tee box. Like, you're a long ways away. I guess if they're on the green, that's right. The tee box right next to the green.
He says maybe it was number 5 and number 6, Stephen Wildwood. The Cardinals had the best record in the Grapefruit League last season, and we all see how well that worked out. That's from the 314. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Spring training results. Now, if you have a guy who you're counting on, just absolutely, in particular in the rotation, get raked, that's a different deal. Right. But even then, guys who are established like to try to work on stuff. I remember Wainwright was like working on a cutter down there, and he'll get hit around, and people are like, "What's going on with Wainwright?" It's just the way that it's kind of going on. Let's see. All right, we'll take a break. We'll close out the 8 o'clock hour. We welcome you to send your emails in for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day that comes your way. At 9:45, Jackson and I will deal with the situation down the hallway at 10 o'clock. That's called Balloon Party. This is TMA, and it's presented to you by Brown and Crouppen.
Here's Action Jackson with 3 more ways to get TMA content.
Get the TMA mobile app and enable notifications so you don't miss a thing. See our content on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Stream us on the TMA mobile app and at TMASTL.com.
Thanks, Jackson. It's the Brown and Crouppen Morning After on 105.7 FM HD2.
Urban Dictionary defines thirsty as purposely, knowingly, and recklessly attempting to gain fame to boost self-esteem. So, are you thirsty? Well, TMA has you covered. Become a part of the TMA Listener of the Month Club. You nominate yourself for a monthly award. And if you win, you get recognition and stuff to help you satisfy that insatiable thirst. We're talking January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, etc. Go to TMASTL.com or the TMA app. Give us your name, a photo, and other pertinent information. Tell us why you deserve to be TMA Listener of the Month. And if you don't want to use your real name or photo, we don't really care. The TMA Listener of the Month. Get recognized just for being you or fake you or whatever. Quenched by Milagro Tequila. Welcome to the brighter side of tequila with Milagro in the morning after on KPNT HD2.
Chow Chow on the Hill is your one-stop shop for all your pet supplies. As soon as you walk through their doors, you and your pet are considered family and treated with superior service and personalized attention. Jessica is the owner and is a certified pet nutritionist and is passionate about educating her clients on the product that will keep your pets happy and healthy. My favorite part about Chow Chow is its connection with All Paws Safe Haven, an organization that helps shelter animals find forever homes. To learn more about Chow Chow, visit CIAOCHOWSTL.com or stop by and tell them Plowsy sent you.
I get asked all the time by people, if I'm in an accident, what should I do? And while yes, you should call the police, exchange insurance information, and take pictures of the scene, all those things are important. But the most important thing you need to do is hire a personal injury lawyer. This is Doug Biggs from Longo Biggs Injury Law. And if you've been hurt by someone else's negligence, don't take on the insurance company yourself. Insurance companies have teams of people and a playbook designed to keep you running in circles so they can pay you as little money as possible for your accident claim. If you don't have a lawyer, they know you can't bring your claim to court, and they will never give you full value. We recently took an offer from an insurance company without a lawyer on the case from $12,000 to $200,000. You can't get that kind of result without an attorney on your case. Even if you don't hire us, you need to hire a personal injury attorney. Check us out online at longobigs.com.
TMA listeners have a lot to think through financially. Saving for retirement and college while also paying bills and enjoying life along the way. Call Mark Hanna. Mark works with you to design a strategy to do your finances right. It's a straightforward approach that starts with a 15-minute phone call to discuss your needs. Visit evergreenstl.com or give Mark a call at 314-889-0503 today. Mark Hanna offers securities through Equitable Advisors, LLC, member FINRA, SIPC, a broker-dealer. Equitable Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Evergreen Wealth Strategies is not a registered investment advisor and is not owned or operated by Equitable Advisors or Equitable Network.
The Illinois Recovery Center is dedicated to providing precise and authentic care to those seeking help and treatment. Recovery, it's not just a goal, it's a transformative journey. At Illinois Recovery Center, you'll find an unwavering commitment to provide the support, guidance, and personalized care you or your loved one needs to rediscover a life filled with purpose, strength, and lasting renewal. If you or someone you know wants more information about the Illinois Recovery Center, please call 888-472-9559 or visit IllinoisRecoveryCenter.com.
When we think of a real estate agent, we think of somebody simply selling our home or finding us a new one. I mean, they're all the same, right?
Okay, here's the comps. We'll take some pics, we'll post them, and I'll get back to you, okay?
A home is life-changing, and your real estate agent should reflect that. Honesty, integrity, and someone who will go above and beyond to make your dreams come true.
The Jeff Lotman Group with Compass Realty. We're different because you're different. We want what you want. Experience the difference today at jefflotman.com, bringing people and properties together.
Bet like the pros with the world's largest sports book right at your fingertips. Circus Sports is now available in Illinois. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I've been a lifelong sports bettor and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. We're excited that the Circus Sports app is now ready for action. Experience big app bets with high betting limits, tight money line splits, and more. Now you can download, fund, and bet like a pro from anywhere in Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circusports.com. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
Yeah, that Plowboy's an interesting dude, but he loves animals, and he wants to help adoptable dogs find homes. With TMA listeners, catch Plowsy live on the TMA socials each week, highlighting a dog up for adoption. From Open Door Animal Sanctuary in House Springs, St. Charles County Pet Adoption Center, and All Paws Safe Haven. Plowsy's Pup of the Week, brought to you by Chow Chow on the Hill. Everything you need to keep your pet's tail wagging. Find out more at TMASTL.com. The Tim McKernan Show podcast, featuring long-form interviews with people from the world of sports, politics, and entertainment.
And our guest today, Bill McClellan. Thanks so much for coming in.
Hey, my pleasure, Tim.
What's up, Caden?
Hi, how are you?
Joe Buck, our guest today.
Man, it's like I haven't seen you in years.
More than 500 episodes and counting, and it's available wherever you get your podcasts, including the TMA STL app. Get the app now at TMASTL.com. Open up your TMA mobile app and enter keyword concert to win tickets to see Primus and Coheed and Cambria, with special guest Too Many Zoos on Saturday, August 3rd at St. Louis Music Park, presented by 105.7 The Point. Find out more at TMASTL.com. Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, KPNT-FM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA All Day.
It's the Brown and Crouppen Morning After.
On KPNT HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis.
Welcome back. It's TMA, and it's presented to you by Brown and Crouppen. Timothy Michael McKernan, Jackson Burkett, sitting in for the vacationing Douglas Elvin Vaughn. The Plowhawk is on the ones and twos. Ken Strode is out, and he is working on Q2 projections with Hubbard Corporate. And KG in O-Town is in the Fox Seckman C6 R1 studios. Jackson, what is on the itinerary for your weekend? Plowhawk, this is where Jackson will be cryptic because he is keeping his love interest smartly off the air.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be hanging with my girlfriend this weekend, and that'll be that.
And you just called her your girlfriend for the first time.
That's
what a moment. They'll be covering that on TMZ.
Is that the first time?
Yeah, what a big, yeah.
All right. Well, yeah.
What is it, 4 months?
In that ballpark, yeah. Yeah, been together for a little bit. Yeah, she's lovely.
Does she ask how your day went? And do you tell her, like, what you talk about on air?
Yeah, has she listened to the show?
She has. Yeah.
She's more of a balloon party person.
She enjoys balloon parties.
Does she really?
Well, I guess like if
podcast.
she's watching like to see what I'm doing, I'm more prevalent on balloon party than I am on this presentation. Like my buddy.
Has she listened to QFTA?
Yes.
What does she think of that?
Strong to quiet. Yeah.
What does she think of the tales I tell, such as the gentleman masturbating at the foot of my bed?
She likes how you're unapologetically yourself.
Oh, God bless.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I take that as a compliment.
Absolutely.
She's sending questions? Is she Mr. Siders?
Yeah, is she unhappy with your 7-iron distance?
No, she's unaware of that.
Is she a golfer?
No.
Does she have interest in the game?
Not much.
Some guys say that it's great that their wives don't play. I actually would like it if my wife played.
Madison knows the game, and I like it because she knows how long it takes. She knows, like, I can't be on my phone all the time with it. So, like, she understands, like, when golfers are golfing and relaxing and enjoying it, she knows the protocol, and I like that. Give me just, like, 4 hours to myself, and I'm gone.
Yeah, I've seen out there, and I don't want to judge anyone who does this, but do your thing.
It's going to be very judgy.
I don't mean, no, I don't, and I'm not trying to, I just, because working in golf courses for a long time in my life, I've seen it happen. I played, obviously, for a long time. The guy who's out there playing, like, basically by himself, no other playing partner, but his girlfriend or wife is in the cart with them, not playing, seems like nobody is actually having a good time.
Wow, well, you just came after me right there, and yeah, I take it personally. And
but wasn't your son out there with you too?
I'll send you passive. Well, I mean, there were times that, believe it or not, you didn't know me then. Maybe you interviewed me as a high schooler, but I was a my balls were barren as far as valuable sperm.
Right.
And so we didn't have children. And so I recall, but at the same time, I didn't play golf. I played like 5 rounds of golf in my 30s, which is a major regret. But when my brother got married down in Hilton Head in 2016, I'm like, since we're here, I guess I'll play. And then I'm like, oh, I love it. And now I'm back into it, just like that. Off poker, into golf, obsessive, crazy. And so for my 40th birthday, I turned 40 in 2016. We went to Las Vegas. And my wife, she didn't play, but just rode around with me, and we had a great time. Met another couple. The gentleman, not like in that way, although I was trying. This was a gentleman in his 70s who had worked at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory.
Oh, he seems like a prime candidate.
Right. And his wife, who was a former news anchor in, like, Belgium. And I'm like, oh, well, go ahead and play with him, and we're playing on a course in Las Vegas, Bears Best, I believe. And, it's just friendly. It's how it is when you pair up with people. It's friendly. Sometimes you're just BSing. You find something. I find if the guy worked at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, he's a wizard, obviously. I mean, he is literally a rocket scientist. And everything's cool, and, neither one of us are any good. And he mishits a ball on like the 7th or 8th hole, and he just throws his club across the course.
Yeah.
And oh God, what just happened?
That's tough.
Oh no, the whole round, my whole perception of him and the whole situation just changed, and now I'm like, oh crap. I mean, we're 2 goofuses out there on the course like on a Tuesday. Playing for nothing. He's probably going to shoot somewhere in the 80s, and I'm going to shoot somewhere, if I'm lucky, in the 80s at that time. And all of a sudden, a 7-iron goes flying through the air. I go, holy crap.
Yeah, that's tough when you're like with a
Oh, my
stranger and they
God.
do that. That's like your buddy, like more.
Yeah, and if there's
contact.
gambling, I
Yeah.
mean, listen, it's not
Still.
preferably my scene, but I certainly have borne witness to it, and I'm sure I will again, probably within the next week. But yeah, just like a stranger you're paired up with on a casual round, like
How
on
we
a
want.
Tuesday in Las Vegas, who worked at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory too. You would think he's kind of chill, but what do I know? Tim, don't get her into it. She'll ask for a set of clubs that you'll buy. You'll then slip one past the goalie and knock her up, and then those clubs will sit in a closet indefinitely. Speaking of which, anyone buy a set of barely used ladies' clubs? It's Carlos Spicy Wiener.
Yeah. I just wanted to, that was just my perception of what I saw when I would see the couple out there, one guy playing, the woman not playing. I don't want to, again, be judgmental.
Tim's wife took that hot picture of him on the green in Las Vegas. Are you familiar with that image?
Mm-mm.
I got to tell you.
Is this a situation where you'd F yourself?
No, it's got nothing to do with that, although I would.
Right.
It was when my wife was out with me playing at some course in Las Vegas, and it was with her iPhone. And it made its, I think it was like the banner picture on the TMA fan page on Facebook for a period of time. And I have no idea how the hell this image was taken. Yeah, you're probably going to see the guy who threw the
the Jet Propulsion guy.
Yeah, well,
Oh, boy. Throwing the club, man. That's you're making a real commitment.
Throwing the club on a random
Yeah, there's no money involved.
round is the thing that was so alarming, and it just like shut the round down. I was like, how do we handle this? I mean, we're only on like 7 or 8, but he's so angry about something that we got to get the hell out of here. Let's see what I got. Well, I guess I don't have the time while hosting the program to find images. Has anybody got a live read?
Doug.
Doug does.
Yeah, the title sponsor, Brown and Crouppen.
All right, nice, sweet.
If you have a potential personal injury case, Brown and Crouppen is a local law firm here to serve you. We've all gotten to know Terry Crouppen and Andy Crouppen and Ed Herman very well on their appearances here on The Morning After. Wonderful guys, and the kind of guys you would like to have in your corner if you have a personal injury case. They'll give you that free evaluation. They'll work on a contingency basis, no upfront cost at all to you. If you don't get paid, they don't get paid, and they've won more than $1 billion in compensation for the clients. They are the local law firm that is on your side. They've grown into one of the largest personal injury firms in the entire Midwest. If you think you may need Brown and Crouppen services, call them at 314-222-2222 or go to brownandcrouppen.com. Make sure to let them know you heard about it here on TMA. Remember, the choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising. Past results are no guarantee of future results, and every case is different and must be judged on its own accord.
There you go. Presenting sponsor of the program. Here is the...
Oh, my God.
It's like,
Ansel Adams?
I mean, what in the hell? It was
That's
just
a
like
gorgeous
standing
photo.
there on 18.
Yeah. Oh, my
And I'm
Lord.
like, what in the world
Oh, man.
happened?
She took that with her iPhone
Yeah.
in
And that was 2016, too. It wasn't like these,
Right. It's like an iPhone 8? That's nuts.
Yeah, it became a running joke on the TMA fan page, and like it just popped up in all kind, like in art galleries and so on and so forth. But yeah,
that's like
still,
a painting.
I know.
That's unbelievable. That's outstanding.
So there's the benefit of having your wife out on the golf course.
Yeah.
Well, you're right. Dale Esteban is not happy anytime golf comes up. Holy crap! Who cares about your guys' golf games? Can't wait to hear about everyone's fantasy teams results next. That's from Dale Esteban. I don't think anybody was necessarily breaking down their golf game so much as a topic of playing golf with your significant other.
Right.
And some people are really for it, and some people are really against it. But anytime golf comes up, as I've learned on this program in particular, but certainly Balloon Party even more so, there's an undercurrent that is socioeconomic, and I've just come to terms with it and get it, and then it's difficult for some people to have to come to terms with that as well. But guess what? That's the way that it is. Jackson, bring your girlfriend out to our match so she can see how a golf ball is supposed to be hit. That's from Mr. Siders.
Okay. No. Not happening.
You don't want to bring her out to a big event? Full of a bunch of sads?
The first round of the Jennings Randolph Jr.
As soon as she saw Cletus, like, borderline mount me, I think that would be like, oh, what have I got myself into?
Maybe she'll find that to be a turn on, and wouldn't that be a treat? You know?
You think after he's gone, they're going to do like studies on that girdle?
Listen, there's a lot of things that you could call what Cletus does to another man. I don't think anything would get people really going on. But hey, maybe we don't kink shame.
Yeah, thank you very much.
If you're into the girdle, and it's seasoned, boy howdy.
I made reference to this earlier, but then we got on the baby girl thing. The KG and O-Town's other link that intrigued me is the following. Kansas City Chiefs owner Clark Hunt stood in a semicircle of reporters on Wednesday pressed over a somewhat surprising development earlier in the day. A strong contingent of his players, who will soon be slipping on yet another Super Bowl ring, the third in 5 years for some of them, had some notes to share with their team owner and the outside world about their franchise's inner workings. Their head coach, Andy Reid, he landed an A-plus rating among a strong contingent of Chiefs players who took part in the second annual NFL Players Association survey, which was released Wednesday. Reid's grade was the best in the league among head coaches, according to the union. And that's where the organizational flowers ran out. In 10 other categories, the back-to-back Super Bowl champion franchise did not get a single rating from their players higher than a C+. Most shockingly, they landed 2 Ds, and that was for their training room and the team travel, 1 D+ for their treatment of players' families, 3 Fs for their nutritionists/dietitians, their locker room, and their training staff, and then 1 absolute anchor-dragging F- for the franchise's owner and friend of St. Louis, Clark Hunt. As Plowhawk is slow clapping it out. He is slow clapping it out on the other side of the dais.
Love it.
What is this? What's the deal? Why? Well, I guess I should read. But were you guys?
Practice facilities are garbage.
Yeah, but that was already a vote. What did
visitors'
he do?
locker room is an issue. Him personally, I'm not sure. I don't know if it's a personal attack.
NFLPA president said, quote, a lot of that was, I would say, frustration from the guys on promises that haven't been kept as they've put a bunch of success on the field. Not this past year, but the year before, the team promised them a brand new locker room. They were told they were going to renovate it. They go on to win the Super Bowl. They come back for the offseason, and it's the same locker room, but with chairs instead of stools. So there was an upgrade.
Yeah, backs.
They kind of said, what's this deal? And they were told, well, you guys went far in the playoffs. We didn't have the time to do it, so we didn't. I think you'll see that frustration in the survey responses where they feel as though they've been promised change and they're not actually receiving the change as they've been putting out Super Bowl after Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'd have to imagine the Chris Jones holdout didn't sit well probably with some of the players as well.
Yeah.
You know, you got a guy who's such a key part of your defense, and that defense was a key part of their Super Bowl run, and he's having to, you know, wait to be paid what he's owed is probably not something that sat well with a bunch of the guys, especially a veteran like Chris Jones. But I feel like so much with with an owner is so like when you look at like a head coach, we as guys who watch the games could probably comment on that a little bit, but with an owner, we have no idea how they act or behave themselves or how they run their teams at all. Unless you're in the city, maybe, but even that.
Stephen Ross of the Dolphins.
Not the best.
Who's the owner of the Vikings? I know this isn't fair. I can look it up, but just on the off chance somebody knows the owner of the Vikings, is it still Ziggy Wolf?
Owner of the Vikings.
Ziggy Wolf.
All right, yeah, that's what I thought.
Their stadium's gorgeous.
Oh, yeah. Well,
They
they
do a
leveraged
great
Minnesota using Los Angeles to get that thing.
Yeah, that place is
they both got A pluses, and then Shad Khan, who was about to buy the Rams, but it was a weird day that day in sports talk radio in St. Louis when that story came out because people really didn't want Shad Khan to buy the Rams for some reason and wanted Stan Kroenke to buy the Rams. And then I sit there and I go, I wonder what that was about.
If his
and
name
would you
was-
like to have that putt back, you effing Hilljacks?
If his name was only Bill Smith.
Yeah, exactly. Baltimore Ravens owner, and his name is
Darnell Coles.
Thank you. And the Broncos owner with an A. Then the 5 worst owners. The guy who threw water on fans for the Panthers.
Tepper.
Yeah. And he fired Frank Reich after like 8 games.
Yeah, they're selling tickets for $0.25.
The Glazers still own the Buccaneers?
I think so.
All they do is show the pictures here, so I don't know. I know Michael Bidwell's the owner of the Cardinals.
Yep.
He got an F. Wow, Rooney got an F.
Really?
How about that?
Steelers?
And then Clark Hunt gets an F minus.
Yeah, F minus. Wow. That's scathing. A Super Bowl champion, back-to-back Super Bowl champion, and their owner gets an F minus.
And what sucks is this guy, the billionaire whose family bought it for pennies on the dollar way back then,
Relatively,
and gonna leverage his team to get a brand new stadium.
Yeah, so are they trying to get a brand new stadium? They're like a brand new stadium, or are they going with a renovation?
I thought Hunt said they need a brand new stadium. They renovate. I think they said they renovated the practice facilities or the practice field. I forgot which one they just did. But I think they're looking for a new stadium.
I know the Royals are going to get a new stadium in downtown KC.
With that stadium and how old it is, it'd probably be more expensive to probably try to get it up to par as opposed to just building a new one. I'm not.
But it's one of the best atmospheres in all of football in
Love the
general, not
parking,
just NFL.
yeah.
Like one of the best atmospheres in, honestly, American sports.
But a guy who gets an F minus is about to get $800 million from the taxpayers, so he didn't have to pay a dime for it. Pretty baller. He's an ass, and I hate him, and I don't know why people respect him at all. But like,
wow, you just ratcheted up the criticism.
He does need to get dragged. That dude, he's so
what is
far
your
away
reason?
from
Is your
reality.
reason going back to the Rams thing, or do you dislike him for other reasons?
Oh, the Rams thing for sure. And it's not just him. If he would have said, yeah, keep St. Louis there, that probably didn't happen. But like the fact that he openly was against it and now taking the fan base, it's unbelievable. Again, he's an ass, but wow, it worked better than he probably could have ever anticipated.
Oh, yeah.
How quickly that turnaround went from being a Ram fan to being a diehard Chief fan.
They also drafted Mahomes drafted like that year.
That's correct.
Yeah, so that obviously changed the course of his ownership, tenure.
Clark Hunt looks like he gets lip injections. That's from Eric in the Central West End.
Now that's a baby
I don't even know
girl
what
right
Clark Hunt
there.
looks like.
That is a baby girl right there.
Clark Hunt. That looks like me.
Jackson, this isn't a humble brag because I don't think anyone but you will care, but I'm going to the LA Clippers game tonight. Love you, boys. That's from Karen. Wow,
nice.
Another female listener. They're
That's
everywhere.
awesome.
And I saw the video. I didn't know this, so this could be old news. Of his suite is an apartment. Have you seen that at the stadium? I think it's.
Yeah, we're getting texts about the owner's suite.
I haven't seen. I don't have the text inbox.
He definitely
open.
renovated the owner's suite.
Tim, it's a 6-bedroom house as an owner suite.
In Arrowhead? In Arrowhead.
It's what the video I was watching. Yeah, it's a huge house.
The current, not like the model for the new thing?
I think the current one right now. But they were in it, like they showed video of, I don't know who was on the camera and doing the video, but yeah, it's a 6-bedroom house. As a owner suite, it looked like.
Jesus.
Several bedrooms, nonetheless. I don't know what the specs were, but
Guys, the plan for Kansas City is to tear down Kauffman when the Royals move. and then build the new Chief Stadium where Kauffman is.
So there was a guy who was bashing me on the text line about I'm an idiot.
I thought you didn't have the text line open.
I just turned it off,
okay.
but I saw right when I said they
right
were,
when you open it up.
Well, said right when they were redoing. They say renovating. I said they wanted to build a new one. I think they're wanting to build a new one. I don't think they're wanting to renovate Arrowhead.
Well, that would make sense because the Royals are moving if they were to use that lot. Because one of the best parts about the Arrowhead experience, and it is awesome, is the tailgating. And so you move it to like a downtown setting, you lose that. So I was thinking, where are they moving? Well, they're not. They'll just put it where Kauffman is. So that makes sense. God bless.
And it would look it's going to look amazing.
I assume
they're going to get it
still call
done.
Arrowhead.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The Chiefs released concepts of renovating Arrowhead again. The game day locker rooms were original until a couple of years ago, and now they are amazing. Clark Hunt has a 2-story residence inside of Arrowhead.
Yeah. I don't know if it's 6 bedroom, but I know it was 2 floors of a lot of square footage. So that's what the priority.
I don't understand. I mean, I know nothing about it. I know I'm asking questions that nobody has an answer to, but I don't understand what the point of that would be, because I highly doubt he lives there, you know? So I just don't know what the...
Family and friends gather for a game day experience, maybe
but
stay
why
there
did
a
he
night before.
bedrooms?
I don't know why there were bedrooms, but...
Get all tanked up at the game and then just sleep in the state. Like, it seems odd.
It's funny that everybody else in game day experience there is what considered like an F or whatever, like he's getting, and like people that are in that suite are getting A+ treatment. I mean, it is amazing. Their videos, like I said, I saw a video on Twitter the other day. It's pretty immaculate. Because like it looks like you're walking into a residence, and all of a sudden, like you turn the corner, and there's like you're just looking down at the stadium.
The Blue Jays Stadium has like a hotel inside.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
Yeah, Madison's dad actually stayed there once.
Oh, the Sky Dome, as it was
amazing.
called when it opened. Yes, they do. And then there was a famous time when people were banging in the hotel, which you could see in the.
That's hot.
Yeah, it is hot. Chiefs released renderings this week. They're keeping the stadium. They're renovating it and using the open land from the Royals leaving to add an entertainment district and more access to the highway. That's from Steven Time.
They got a good thing there with the Power and Light District. When I went for the famous Kansas versus Mizzou scrimmage, it was right outside Sprint Center. That was fun.
Let's see. They all get boozed up and then swing right after the game. That's from Zach's wife, Cumming.
Oh, I'd love to see the action in there after a Mahomes game-winning touchdown pass. I bet all the bedrooms are full.
Would you think differently of the owner of your favorite team if they were swingers, active swingers?
I would tip my cap.
Right.
I would absolutely. Don't you think Steamer? What do you think Steamer was plowing?
No.
Oh, I could not imagine that guy lasted more than a minute. And then,
oh wow!
After she signed the NDA,
if you had
not being able to reveal his size,
you had Stan Kroenke premature talk
at 9:23.
Oh, I
yeah,
bet
to
they're
the collector winnings.
Gray tuft that looked like an old fire pit, you know, from a night before camping, just like ashy and sooty. And,
oh, so descriptive.
In the business I am in, I can confirm the owner's suite situation for Lamar Hunt. That's the father of Clark. I have been in it, and he's definitely a baby girl based on its interior. I like that baby girl's now becoming part of the TMA lexicon.
I did too.
That's from the Warson Woods Wacko.
It's fun.
Tim, if they put the stadium where Kauffman is, then where will the jet skis and dolphins go? I would doubt the state of Missouri would get behind any of these changes without such activities as go-karts and mini-golf as well. That's from the 618. It's fascinating that most of the owners that received bad grades didn't actually buy their team, but they had it passed down. That's an interesting observation.
Yeah. Family ownership. I feel like the days of that are kind of coming to an end.
It's not like the Packers.
Well, Bidwell, Rooney, and Clark Hunt all would fall into that category.
Yeah.
Stephen Ross certainly bought the Dolphins. Shad Khan bought the Jaguars, obviously.
But how did it? Don't those grades go into it? Isn't Miami's stadium terrible? Like, isn't it not?
Hard Rock. It's pretty new.
I didn't. I've heard
It
complaints.
was renovated. It's where the Marlins played when they.
That's the same Sun Life.
You've seen that thing. I mean, it's not a great.
I thought they built.
I mean, it's fine, but it's not.
So they just
it's
renovated
fairly distant from.
I think a new Miami stadium would look sweet.
I don't know if Miami's already gotten
They have some
banged by the Marlins. I don't
Yeah.
know what the appetite down there to
Not
build
good.
another stadium.
Not good. I thought, okay. So Sun Life was where the Marlins played, and then they just renovated that.
Yeah.
And
So
called
now it
Hard
looks
Rock.
like it kind of has a roof, but
yeah,
all
that's
it
the
is
thing
put it
that made
on
me,
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what made me think it was new, is because that like weird roof, half roof thing they have.
Guys, the Hunts live in a big house outside of Dallas, I believe. That's from Baloo the Bear. Let's see. Jim Ursay, is quite a character. Ask the Colts beat writer about him. That's from Crystal City Clan member, and he is he's at least second generation because his dad moved the Colts from Baltimore.
Yeah, he seems like an interesting guy.
Yeah, they did an HBO Real Sports, I think, on him. And he's got like millions and millions of dollars worth of, I believe, like rock and roll memorabilia, like Rock and Roll Hall of Fame kind of memorabilia.
Like Jimi Hendrix guitar or something. Yeah.
And he just sits there and he plays music. Yeah, he's a unique cat, that's for sure. Send your emails in, Design Air Heating and Cooling email today, the morning after at InsideSTL.com. The morning after at InsideSTL.com. That's coming your way in about 20 minutes. We have a balloon party coming your way in about 34 minutes. And we welcome you to participate in any and everything, the YouTube chat, the text line, and, of course, the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. And then you make the switch to the 101 ESPN channel on YouTube, or just listen to 101 ESPN, and Jackson will have the Friday six-shooter. Boy, you're going to have to pack a lunch today. Should I get the Venmo ready to get a deep dive? Be honest with me. Plus, you're in here doing the show, so you might not be able to do your little six-shooter.
I'm doing it as we speak.
As we speak.
Well, I've just completed. I got 2 surveys for you. Not, and that I created them. They're not.
One's the athletic one, probably on the Cardinals.
No.
Oh, no. Okay, because I went to that one. I'm like, that'll be good. And it was like one question. How good do you feel about the team? I'm like,
I put in the optional notes section. I gave him some.
I see.
In Newt We Trust, I said, or something like that.
Yeah.
But no, these are surveys that I created.
Oh, wow.
So both for the Blues and the Cardinals.
And you're doing this as you sit here.
I did it. Yeah, well, in the breaks. A lot of work in the breaks and before the show.
All right, fair enough. So that's coming up. Maybe I'll get to keep my $35 today.
I hope so. That's the goal, is that you get to keep money.
Thank you. If you're injured in a car accident, you need an attorney. You need the best one you can find. If any of my family or friends are ever injured in an accident, I want them to call Doug Biggs and C.D. Longo at Longo Biggs Injury Law. For nearly 10 years, Doug Biggs and C.D. Longo have been recognized as the top 40 under 40 personal injury lawyers by Super Lawyers, the National Academy of Personal Injury Attorneys, and the National Trial Lawyers Association. In a personal injury case, there could be a substantial amount of money on the line, and these guys know how to get you every last dollar possible. They're smart, they're tough, and they're aggressive. They routinely get high-dollar settlements, $100,000, $500,000, $1 million settlements. You name it, they've gotten it while fighting for their clients. They are not the churn and burn type of law firm. With Doug and CD, you won't be just another file lost in the shuffle. If you have questions about your case, you'll talk to Doug or CD personally, and they will handle every aspect of your case the entire way. They get to know you, and you will get to know them. Doug and CD are local, friendly, professional, and most importantly, excellent personal injury lawyers. And they are listeners of the show. Go online at longobiggs.com. That's LONGOBIGGS.com, longobiggs.com. And remember, the choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements. Iggy, what do you have going on this weekend? What is on the itinerary?
Probably just golf.
Oh, you are going to shave strokes?
No, watch golf.
Oh, watch golf. You're going to watch the Cognizant Classic.
Well, my male crush is leading right now. So.
Minwoo Lee, 8 under par.
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, unless it gets really warm. I think Sunday's supposed to be 70-something.
Yeah.
Hawk's going to be up, though. Heads up.
I just got in my backyard and work on the short game.
Nice.
Probably make a little pork steak in the crock pot.
Pork steak in a crock pot?
Well, I get the boneless pork steaks. They're almost like little fillets, but they're boneless. I put them in the crock pot for about 6 hours and
barbecue sauce?
Cut it with a fork. Don't even need a knife.
I like a pork steak. I like a pork steak a lot, matter of fact.
It's very un-Ledoux of you.
I know. It's you gotta like wash the stink off of it afterwards. But it's a delicious. I'm not like usually like eating a lot of I don't like to eat pork chops or a lot of pork products in general, but pork steaks really do it for me.
Plowhawk, what's on your itinerary? Now that we know that Jackson likes pork steaks and Iggy's going to be making them.
I got a family weekend.
Oh, your sister's in town, right?
Yeah, and then we're having got Madison's sister in town as well. I think she's trying to do some dress shopping. I'm gonna try to just entertain Madison's dad and my dad and try and enjoy ourselves. I think it'll be nice. I think the weather will hold up.
Were you at the zoo last weekend?
I was.
Oh, God.
It was a nightmare. But we left at 9 a.m., so it was only annoying when, we left.
Right.
But, wow.
Oh,
I've never seen Forest Park so busy.
I drove past it going somewhere, and cars were lined
it'd be
up
a living hell.
off
You
the
see the
side
dad.
of Hampton.
You should see the dad's face.
Oh my god!
All of them. It's pure disappointment.
Disappointment.
It's like you have to park so far away, and
Oh, yeah.
then getting in there is impossible. All the I love the zoo. Don't get me wrong.
I just went with Madison, her friend, and her friend's kid. So, like, I was just kind of
You were
there
along for the
chilling.
ride?
Along for the ride. Got myself a coffee and walked around.
Maybe an edible.
There was definitely that. A lot of smoking area there at the zoo.
Why Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are catching hell because they went to the zoo? I don't. What happened?
Like in Australia, they went to the zoo,
Yeah.
and they're catching up. Did they shut down the zoo, like for them? Because that sometimes pisses people off. I know that, like when they shut down like amusement parks or.
This is like Mad Libs. Jennifer Coolidge, White Lotus,
Yeah.
Stifler's mom,
That's right.
is giving Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce the benefit of the doubt when it comes to their Sydney Zoo date, even though she says PETA is right to disapprove. The White Lotus star was at LAX when a photog asked her about Taylor and Travis's controversial date idea, which is drawing PETA's ire. What did they do?
PETA is.
They went to
all-
the zoo. Am I missing something here?
Yeah, I
They
thought-
were slammed by PETA. Yeah.
For what?
I guess probably PETA's probably very anti-zoo. Therefore, those two going to the zoo.
Well, how could you like to issue an apology now that you have openly said you
Yes,
went
I'm
to
an
the
ass. I'm sorry.
Jennifer says the lovebirds should get a pass for a few reasons. She doesn't think they put a lot of thought into going to the zoo, and we're just looking for something romantic to do together. A big PETA supporter herself, Jennifer says Taylor and Travis seem like fellow animal lovers and isn't going to condemn them here. She's kind of walking a fine line. Huge fan, but also big animal lover. As we reported, PETA says the famous couple should look elsewhere the next time they're in the mood to be around animals, suggesting they hit up a sanctuary instead of a zoo. PETA also took issue with the couple feeding a kangaroo, saying it was harmful to the animal to do that.
Just wait till the next paragraph.
I feel like this Jennifer stopping short of calling out Taylor and Travis too hard, but she says ultimately agrees with whatever PETA says on the matter. It's pretty funny to see her wrestle with this dilemma on camera. You can tell she loves them and doesn't want to slam them. Is that the paragraph you're talking about, Plowek?
No, it says Swift was previously named the biggest celebrity CO2 polluter after allegedly producing 138
I'm on
tons of
TMZ.
it.
Where are you seeing this?
Unilad.com.
Our lads?
It's hilarious. They actually had the exact amount of emissions she has, and that's in 3 months.
I
How
assume
they-
that's the PJs.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this one's almost carbon copy of the article you're reading in terms of the quotes and everything. So I assumed I thought you were on the same one.
This reminds me, Tim, of when I brought up on QFTA the Dave Chappelle thing. Like, you know, CNN's discussing something really important. They're like, let's get Ja Rule's opinion on this situation.
Yes.
Like, why is Jennifer Coolidge commenting on Taylor's? Like, I
fair
guess if
question.
paparazzi just comes up to you and asks, but I don't. Going to a zoo is now. I
didn't know that.
I don't get that at all. Like the animals are still going to be there whether you go or not.
I love how a zoo day is now controversial.
I had no idea.
But PETA gets up in arms about so much.
Well, yeah, but like this one's insane.
Yeah, it's not playing well. In the Jeff Lotman Compass Realty text inbox, 314-881-TMA5, PETA can eat a wang. That's from the 314. PETA needs to stop telling people what to do. That's from the Crystal City Clamhammer. Plowsy, would you rather burn one and go to the Arch, the zoo on a Saturday in the spring/summertime, or Grant's Farm on the 4th? That's from Uncle Moose Knuckle.
There's no option for neither.
None of the above.
Yeah, I'll probably do Grant's Farm, hop on that train and just tell them to take me everywhere. Just sit on that
Feed the
train.
goats.
Yeah, feed the goats.
See the
put ice
Clydesdales.
in, Yeah, the Clydesdales are great. I actually like Grant Farm. Sell alcohol, all that stuff.
I can't tell you the last time I've been to Grant's Farm.
And that's because it's in South County, and you refuse to go there.
Right when you smell South County, do you try to do the quickest U-turn?
I do. I've done plenty of South Countying in my day.
Is that right? What have you done?
I mean, often you play basketball. You play basketball around the area.
Where?
Oh, boy. Well, we sure play. Is Melville in South County?
Clip that off.
Definitely.
Especially with your financial advisor being.
Yeah, Melville Panther proud.
Yeah.
We definitely played Melville. I played a lot of basketball in St. Charles County a lot. A lot of tournaments were always held
What's
out.
that? That wasn't the question.
Well,
You know, maybe-
I'm trying to appease myself here, Tim. I'm eating potatoes guy.
But it's interesting that I ask about South County and then you bring up St. Charles. I
Well-
find that interesting.
Well, I mean, for like building, I should probably stop myself, but I've definitely done some South County. Yeah, 100%. Played Oakville at some point. I'm sure I know that's in South
So
County.
these are just like 2 high school basketball games. You've spent 4 hours in South County.
Well, I wasn't summering in South County. Like, I wasn't spending extended. I might play golf or hoop out there, but yeah, I'm not like hanging out. But I live in South City. It's close, kind of.
It's different, though.
Yeah, very.
Right there. Again, I caught it. If you're paying close attention.
I have a lot of love for South County. Of all the counties in the area.
Chuck in the Chuck says, I'm sorry, and he's sending in Twitter links, but I don't know what that means. Plowhawk, have you seen what the...
I have not.
The replies want the Cardinals grounded for 2 weeks for having fun. Paul Goldschmidt leads off for his team in the finals. Pin is in center field. Points scored for closest.
Oh, they're doing like a golf BP contest thing.
Oh, I see.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah.
Ooh, Goldschmidt has a decent swing.
There's one of them that swung and missed twice on one. I don't think it was like a backup catch or something. I mean,
they'll probably get a lot of play this year.
This is what we're going to get.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're not happy with Derek Gould for posting this on the
Hell
Twitter
yeah,
tweets.
get him.
They're mad at Derek Gould.
What did he have to do? He has to do these.
To be fair, though, Plowhawk, you did get a little banty at Tom Ackerman for posting some highlights.
13 years ago. I'm on the highlights.
Burner 154, because I think the best form of journalism is just taking random burners and then using them in your coverage. Burner _154.
That's the
wrote
actual
Derek
handle?
Gould. Yep. Yes, they can't hit baseballs to save their lives right now, but yes, golf will for sure help. That is from Burner _154.
That's my favorite thing. Like when an athlete posted on Instagram something else they're doing, and all the comments are like, "You should be in the cage. You should be in the weight room getting
Look at
bigger." Like no one else.
You
takes
see
time
Chase
off from
Daniel
work.
burners in the comment section. Great, screwing up their swings even more.
I can imagine goalie's probably really good.
Yeah, he. I guess at this point I can say it. He wound up buying Louis Oosthuizen's house.
Yeah, I feel like we've talked about that before.
I don't know if I don't. I mean, I interviewed him about it, but I don't think I used his name. And I could tell, was embarrassed that it was out there. It's just not a guy who wants that stuff out. He wasn't like a guy, guess what? I got Oosthuizen's. I mean, he's just like a guy, if he could never do an interview the rest of his life, he would take it. And he would probably give back a few million to never have to do an interview the rest of his life. Oh, Plowhawk, there's Matt Carpenter in a visor hitting golf balls in center field.
He looks
I'm just waiting for your tweets about this.
He's swinging righty.
Yeah, he's a right-handed golfer.
Ah, that's interesting.
How about that?
Only time we'll be at the plate all year.
There it is.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't have any real issue with it. I just.
Are they just trying to get it out of the park? Can't they hit a pitching wedge?
I
and
think
get out
no,
there?
they're not trying to hit it out of the park. There's a flag. It's probably like 60 yards because it's in the middle of center field, 60 to 80 yards.
That's a 9-iron for me.
That's a 9.
Yeah, well,
it's
soft.
well compressed.
Yeah. If I really tag it.
Get those golf swings ready. They're going to need them in October.
Oh, no.
Why don't you go to Firehouse Bar on Lee May Ferry and tell them to put the NBA on the main TV over the Blues, you little twerp, and wear your old Ladue Hoops uni, too. That's from Chairman Steve in Wildwood. He'd like you to do a social experiment.
Well, first of all, I don't have my. You don't get to keep your high school uniform.
I got a St. Gabriel's uniform I could wear in here.
Yeah.
Do you still have your Letterman jacket?
Me?
Yeah.
We didn't have Letterman. We didn't wear Letterman's jackets. You had to pay like $300 and no one ever wore them. You look like a huge tool, honestly.
Pardon the hell out of me.
Yeah, how about that, Cage? You know,
it's just not slapped. It's just
I
not
got my
something-
SHS jacket.
Yeah, we just didn't. That wasn't a thing. I guess a couple football players did, but I think it looked kind of like weird. But the hardest place to do it, and I've had to do it before, and I did it very hat in hand sheepishly, was Obie Clark's, because obviously a big hockey bar.
Oh yeah.
And I've asked.
You asked for them to put an NBA game out of Obie Clark's?
Yeah, 100%.
How'd that go?
You approach it in a certain way, and you're just like, can I just get the one TV that I'm like in the vicinity of? Like, I just want one TV, and usually they have so many TVs that they usually have it. For whatever reason, it wasn't on in my section. I just wanted it. I was like, there's like 80 TVs playing the hockey game. Can we just get one over here on the NBA game?
Is that how you,
they said yes.
how you said it too?
But like I did it like I whispered it so like the guys at the bar didn't hear.
It would kick your ass.
Yeah, because like Obie Clark's such a big hockey bar.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that was those days were tough, but yeah, Yeah, you can usually do it. They don't have like league pass, so you're not going to get like a weird game. But if they got a nationally televised game, I'll ask to put it on. I don't give a damn.
Virgin, I still have my jersey from high school because it was retired. That's from the Larson Woods Wacko. How about that? They retired the Larson Woods Wacko's number in his high school.
What sport?
I don't have the answer to that question, but I just read what's in the teleprompter.
Pickleball.
I can't tell you that.
Pickleball. I don't know if that was in vogue.
Tim, can you still fit into the St. Gabe's uniform? I would say it's probably too big now.
Yeah, you've
I've just been shrinking away.
You got to get it hemmed.
Hey, Twisted Femurs, better get some work this weekend and not be getting pegged. That's from Mr. Siders. Boy, he is.
This guy is kind of...
He is very active.
I think I've met him, and he seems very nice and kind.
I met him and his wife, I think, or girlfriend, at the Ascension.
Yeah.
But he's really down on your 7-iron distance.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
I want to play when I play the Pope, and I think I'm 47% to win that. It's a total coin flip. But I really want to be there for you, Mr. Siders.
Pope won't putt like he did last year against you, Tim.
I think the Pope has that skill. I don't think that was like a luck thing. That's a skill, because even his misses were like really good putts that just missed and went past the cup. So it's going to alter my strategy, KG in O-Town. I got to be honest with you. You can't just go, okay, I'm 20 feet out, I got to lag it. Now I'm 20 feet out, I got to try to make it. It's a whole different thing. That Pope, he's a problem. He's a burn my saddle. But at the very least, it'll give me a front row seat to Jackson and Mr. Siders.
Listen, I'm excited to play the gentleman. I just tell you, there's plenty of ways to score in golf without, hitting the ball with your iron super far.
Jesus, don't let him in there ever again, Jimmy O'Brien, this mother effer. No wings for you. That's from Chairman Stephen Wildwood. Let me tell you, those wings at O.B. Clark's.
The dirty wings?
That's what it was. I was about to say, I can't remember what they call
We got
them.
them for the Super Bowl. Really good. Really, really good. Yeah. I like the burger there a lot. I'm a big fan of their burger.
Maybe for Friday night is pizza night, I hit O.B. Clark's and get some wingy.
Pizza there is special.
I know.
They give it to you in like a big old tray.
Yeah.
Good stuff. I like it. O.B. Clark's a great spot.
That might be
good
my
people
play.
too.
That might be my play. Iggy, a lot of people are concerned about you in the YouTube chat and the text inbox. They think you're unhappy. Would you like to address those who are concerned for you or with you?
Unhappy about what?
Have
I tweeted something? Something I put on Facebook?
I haven't seen it yet.
The only thing I put on Twitter was somebody put up a Stafford Gary player, his first PGA, or his first Masters he played in 1934 against Jimmy Hutchins.
I saw that. That's an interesting little fun fact.
And his last one was against Rory McIlroy, and I just put that up there with the caption, yeah, but he didn't play against Taylor Gooch. Because Taylor Gooch is pissed off that he wasn't invited to the Masters and said if Rory wins,
the asterisk.
There should be an asterisk because I wasn't in the field. So just a shot. I'm not happy. That was just a little shot at Taylor Gooch.
All right, there you go. Pope will absolutely putt like that again, KG. Alan Dadeville, the Pope's caddy.
He's really...
he can roll the rock.
That was impressive. Yeah, I was out there. I was a witness. That was impressive.
I tip my cap. I mean, hey, if somebody does that, you just tip your cap. Brad and Boca says, Paw Pout Pout is not talking to prove a point. Brad and Boca, what point are you proving, Iggy?
Are you believing him?
I was giving you an opportunity to respond to the whatever point it could be.
No, it's amazing that I talk too much. They bitch, and then they bitch if I don't talk. I mean, I can't win with you.
You're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, it's been a...
I was watching the Casey Musgrave song since we talked about her from, what is that, Follow Your Arrow. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Okay. You know what, I got to tell you, outside of the lesbian lyrics, it's a pretty good song. Yeah. I mean, it's very poppy, and I'm like,
there's good pop out there, baby.
I got to tell you, I really dig that Casey Musgraves.
You're in for a treat this week.
I know, the Sydney Sweeney Saturday Night Live. What were you saying, Plowek? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. My favorite part about the listeners is the conspiracy theory they throw out there. My favorite. Like, Iggy's not talking on purpose because he's proven a point.
It's been a good show with Jackson. Jackson has added a lot to the show today, and a lot of the topics had to do with Jackson and his age group. You know, I don't even know what a baby girl is.
I kind of want to hear your thoughts on it.
I don't know what it is.
I didn't either.
No, the first part
I
of
had
that.
literally never heard the term.
I have, and it was only when Big Al was completely wasted at one of the Dotems. This is way...
So it goes back?
Yeah, hold on.
Oh, dude, it was like 2017. It was like Lisa Ann's first appearance, and he was passed out on the picnic table like 6:30, and all of a sudden Lisa Ann walked by, and he wakes up like a mummy and goes, "What's up, baby girl?"
Well, no, I've heard that from like 90s rap, but I'm like, I didn't know it was like a thing for effeminate guys.
That's the only time I've heard baby. That was the first time I heard the term baby girl in any form with Big Al just waking up.
coming too.
It feels like it's just a 2024 version of metrosexual.
Yeah, but I think there's a bigger element to it. I think metrosexual is a little more superficial, whereas baby girl might have a little more deeper meaning.
Sure.
But I see where you're coming from with it.
No, there's just way too many labels put on people.
You're anti-label.
Yeah, I am, because they make no sense. Just because a guy carries a purse and he wears sparkly clothes, we're going to call him a baby girl. If I walked up to a girl today and said, "Hey, baby girl," I get slapped.
Asexual is this magical place to me that's between asexual and someone who's sexual.
Right.
A label.
There's our baby girl.
I mean, the first part of that article you read, I mean, what has happened to Saturday Night Live? I didn't know any of those people you mentioned.
Sydney Sweeney and Casey
No, at the
Rivers?
beginning of that article you mentioned a guy who was hosting and the art and
Jacob Elordi.
And the artist.
You watch
was
Euphoria,
there,
though?
And yeah, but I don't know his name. I know
Well.
Cindy Sweeney. That's about it. And the guy who died.
Agnes Cloud.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
The rest of them I don't really know.
Zendaya.
I didn't know her until that show.
Right, but since you watched it, you know who she is.
Yeah, but you mentioned Zendaya. You mentioned another guy that I don't know who he is.
What about Chalamet, the Jawline
And there's
King,
really
former.
other than Cindy Sweeney and Zendaya, there's nobody big enough to be a SNL host on there.
Jacob Elordi. He's a big. He was in the movie Saltburn. That was a big.
And you say that's bad.
It's bad, but it's like bad, entertaining bad.
It's about salt?
No, it is wild.
Well,
But
again,
mean,
I don't
it's
know. And
interesting.
then they mentioned one of the cast members I never heard of either, so I don't know.
Pedro Pascal. You would like The Last of Us. That's a good show. You'd like that, and you've seen him in Game of Thrones.
Who did he play?
Oberon. He goes he
yeah.
got killed by the mountain. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, and
Got his face popped off.
And a hole is a hole.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I was talking about. That's why I think he's zaddy.
Yeah. Should I answer your question? I'm not talking on purpose. What would be the point of that?
Brad and Boca, you can come back over the top with your question.
And you don't
just
live in
call
Boca
in.
either, so.
How do you know he doesn't live in Boca?
Yeah, nobody lives in Boca.
People
live in Boca.
Boca's nice.
Not a lot of St. Louisans in Boca, but
people retired of Boca. Nobody's living in Boca. Unless he's a 70-year-old gentleman texting in, then maybe you do.
Let's see. Listing on the app, and I just assumed Iggy was locked out because of his lack of involvement. Glad to hear he is present and he is good. Also, Doug would be really disappointed all this baby girl talk today. Have a good weekend, boys. Good luck with the sex. That's Scott's wrinkled ballsack, but not his wife.
Doug has huge zaddy energy. He's a big old zaddy.
What is zaddy again?
An older guy that you like find both securing and attractive. Like you could be secure with them, but also they got a wild side, and we all know Doug does.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So
it's effing Sydney Sweeney, not Cindy Sweeney. That's from Jobu's Rum.
All right.
This guy can't win.
I thought I said Sydney. I'm sorry.
Plowsy, in our defense, this is Arbor Day speaking on behalf of the listeners, and I guess what you're talking about with conspiracy theories.
Oh, yeah.
Plowsy, in our defense, people have been fired during the show,
That's true.
so we're used to weird crap that I think you guys have become used to. It's from Arbor Day. He is making a fair point on that.
Can't argue that, actually.
But usually when somebody's terminated, number one, it's not done during a show, and number two, they wouldn't be present. So, but I understand where Arbor Day is coming from. There certainly have been things where we have done a nice job, I think, anyway, compartmentalizing the insanity on the outside from getting inside of the studio. Let's see, it's 9:49, so I got to go to the design. Has anybody had a chance to go into the filtered file? I don't want her to start reading, and then all of a sudden we've got a...
Oh, it's filtered.
So you're filtering, you're doing the 6-shooter, and you're talking on this program.
I'm locked in.
All right,
It's
fair
Friday. You can't. Distance is made on Friday. You can't just give up on a Friday.
God bless America, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email. That is the very first one of the month of March. I've decided to grow facial hair because Tim has facial hair. I mean, let's all appreciate his show today. I knew he would have a great one after doing another balloon party yesterday. I know his numbers are after short rest. I've never seen anything like it, except that one time. It's no secret I like the big fellas. The first time me and my buddies watched Cannonball Run, we went on a date with Pamela Henderson. They were dreaming about Burt Reynolds and Joe Klecko, whilst I was fantasizing about nailing Dom DeLuise. But my mom's Avon lady, Marcy's husband, made him look like a skinny mini. Anyhow, whilst my mom was purchasing various fragrances, my buddy Jeffrey was hiding her husband's hand in their Bel Air in our driveway. When Jeffrey finished, Avon lady Marcy's husband was all sweaty from the friction from Jeffrey's Letterman jacket. He started begging for mercy and asking for a Gatorade. Well, my buddy Benjamin wasn't having any of it. You don't need a Gatorade, you need one of these. With that, he unzipped his bell bottoms. If he was playing poker, you would have said he had a good hand because he was all in. With Avon lady Marcy's husband giving Benjamin's Johnson the sloppiest mouth hug we've seen on the mean streets of Afton. That's from Phil, and then the last name is Ashio.
Wow. Good story. Avon.
Yeah, bring it back.
You gotta bring it back.
Golfing with my wife would negatively affect my sex life with Chet. We don't get much course time together these days, and our relationship would really suffer without the time set aside for hand and mouth stuff in the woods. Women just can't satisfy every need. That's from Admiral Pegger, Esquire, he/him. Great show today, C-Squad. Great to see that even with Doug and Iggy on vacation, the show's Zaddy, 2 full-time and 1 part-time baby girl, can still put on a great show consisting of audio from 1996. And a guy, or an article talking about how guys wearing skirts, pearl necklaces, and talking about their feelings is now in vogue.
Yeah, I think it's a good show.
The cherry on top was getting stiff with his mom's day on the Swelsey trip to the Sydney Zoo. If you guys would have done this show a month ago, perhaps you would have cracked Barrett's top 100 morning shows in dying cities that are a shell of themselves and celebrate minor league football championships and 7th Bundesliga football teams.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Looking forward to hearing Doug and Iggy when they're back on the show next week. Sweatpants, hair tied, chilling with no pop on. That's Blueberry Pop.
Blueberry Pop, bringing the
I didn't
heat.
know Barrett had done rankings based on if the cities are dying or not. That hurts. I'm sorry I won't be able to write my customary prose this morning. Unforeseen explosive diarrhea sidetracked my day. I'm leaking like an above-ground pool with a hole in the side. Except the liquid flowing out of me is a brownish yellow color and it smells exactly like last night's KFC. Again, this is the filtered file I'm in, I believe.
Yeah, something was filtered in there.
I knew I shouldn't have asked for the fried chicken medium rare. It's coming out hot and heavy with an emphasis on the hot part. My dumper's absolutely on fire from the friction of constant wiping. I'd love to comment on that erotic story you read in the 7 o'clock hour. My hole is simply too inflamed to think of anything clever. Did I hear correctly that the husband was surprised when the other fellow was interested in man-on-man penetration? That's like sitting in the front row at SeaWorld and being surprised when Shamu splashes water in your face. Stop being so naive! And one small suggestion, next time you and your wife tag team a dude at a cookout, you don't have to share that information with a local radio host. Keep your sex escapades to yourself so TMA can focus on important things like the sound of urinals flushing and Ray Lankford. On an unrelated note, I'm with Iggy. Winter is definitely over. That layer of ice on my car windshield this morning was a clear sign that temperatures are well above freezing and it's officially sundress season. The old man's closet Doppler is still undefeated. Of course, I won't be commenting on his weather forecast blunder because my chocolate faucet is stuck in the on position. The seepage simply will not cease, and I'm afraid I'm just not going to be any good to you guys today. Have a good weekend. It's from the JV golf coach.
Ordering fried chicken medium rare. It's so funny.
And if you got such bad diarrhea, how'd you get time to go out and warm up your car?
It's a good question. Call in JV Golf Coach, 636-9004-TMA. Ours is the type of presentation where listeners feel free to drop in at any time and regale us in tales of experimentation and bisexuality where a married straight gentleman helped gay a gentleman. Be verb the voice.
Helped gay a gentleman.
That's what it says. Helped gay a gentleman. I think he meant to say helped a gay gentleman decide if he was done banging women by letting said gay gentleman go down on him.
Yeah, it was damning.
before they took turns banging the straight gentleman's wife, and then culminating in the gay gentleman inviting the straight gentleman to stick it in me bum. Ken surprisingly believes the story, but then doesn't understand why the clearly bisexual author of the email would not enter the Harrier hole after letting the gay gentleman serve as immorally. As Prod Joe once said, some people like holes and some people don't like other holes. I love how the guy with no kids and hasn't been in a serious relationship in over 4 decades is advising the married father of 2 young children to go ahead and spend 4 or 5 hours playing golf on the eve of a family trip while the wife has to pack and deal with both kids because, quote, it'll only take 10 minutes to pack, and, quote, he thinks he knows the wife, and, quote, she's understanding, and, quote, wouldn't get mad. This segment is sponsored by Bad Idea Jeans. And finally, I know a lot about what is and isn't Hoosier, and it's great. How's Ken Strode? We're going to bring that back. How about that whole deal? My favorite moment of today's show is when Iggy declared he's, quote, the furthest thing from a Hoosier you're going to find, to which Jackson replied, is there a T-shirt under that quarter zip? Wonderful. You see, it's all about how you dress. Wearing acid-wash jeans with a leather jacket, Hoosier. Painting a house with no shirt on, not Hoosier. Being from Festus, Hoosier. Smoking in the bathroom, wearing oversized quarter zips with no undershirt, pooping on a picnic table, banging married women in public parks, getting peed on while hiding in the bushes, not Hoosier. And that's from Buck Swope. And that's what we have. For the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day, Jackson, you start things off. What you got?
I really like the JV Golf Coach's email with the medium rare fried chicken. Just really, that tickles my fancy. I don't know why I think that's so funny, but it is. But Blueberry Pop Pop delivered the best email today.
Blueberry Pop Pop.
It was unanimous. It was unanimous.
Clean
Blueberry
sweep.
Pop Pop gets a lead and a huge win, getting a unanimous vote. He has shipped it and has the first win for the month of March. And Jackson, what does he get? Because I think I closed out the thing with the
He gets
prize.
tickets.
Coheed and Cambria.
Yeah,
Primus.
tickets to see Primus, Coheed and Cambria, special guest Too Many Zoos, much like Jennifer Coolidge might think, on Saturday, August 3rd at St. Louis Music Park.
How about this? Brad Boca has responded, Iggy. Holy S, he got me. I don't live in Boca. The screen name was Ames to be a foil to Nate in Tallahassee.
Ames, Iowa?
I don't know. I just read what's in the prompter.
Yeah, well, I was right. You don't live in Boca.
It's a nice win.
Boca's nicer than Tallahassee. I can say that.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
But I mean, I don't know who
It's
would
all rich
argue
people.
otherwise.
For the most
Maybe
part,
Nate.
rich people.
Nate in Tallahassee? I don't know if Nate in Tallahassee would argue that.
Florida State's really cool. That's a good time right there. But yeah, I'll take anywhere honestly in the Fort Lauderdale region.
Have a good weekend, guys. Jackson, I do love you and can't wait to put our hands in each other's pants. It's Mr. Siders
All
getting
right.
ready for the
I'm looking forward to it.
Fan Page Club Championship, which now we can say is next month.
Oh wow! Time to get in form. That's what this next month is all about, getting in form.
I'm going to need to delegate the responsibility of reaching out to last year's participants to someone or somebody. It's not tough. It's just it's a little time consuming.
I'm not on the fan page, so I can't.
So you can't play?
Well, I'll play. I can't reach out to the people who played last year because I'm not on the fan page. So
I'll
I can't
do it.
Post anything.
Oh,
KG in O-Town.
Stepping up.
He's just taking it. God bless you. Thank you. Like I said, it's not. I mean, people get back to you damn near immediately. But so then once we have the field and then any spots available, that'll go to new players. So what we have 4 or 5 matchups already set.
Yeah, definitely the 4 of us right here. KG 5. We have 5 matchups set.
Who are you playing, Iggy?
Mr. Licks.
Well, supposedly Licks.
Yeah, but you don't think it's going to happen.
He's not going to play.
I kind of agree with Iggy on that. I don't think he's going to play.
Now, if we could, because he's tried to get in the last 3 years, and he's on the fan page, but he doesn't get on that much, and he's been locked out. Florida Flower wants to play.
He's locked out of the fan page?
No, but he doesn't go on there that much.
Oh.
So by the time
Well,
he
neither
sees
did any of
something-
us.
Yeah, well.
I like the idea.
If we're
He's
gonna-
locked out.
If we're going to save a spot for Florida Flower, we always have
You're
some.
putting in a
open up.
request for the Florida Flower.
He's a ball striker.
He's a really good
Well,
guy.
if Licks doesn't play,
he was with us when I played Cletus last year, if memory serves.
If Licks doesn't play, I'll play Flower. How about that?
And I remember he was unhappy about what Cletus did on some hole, and he felt like it cost him. And I could tell he was really sad that
Didn't he
Cletus
hit
lost.
like a wood when he should have just laid up or something?
Oh, on maybe the 18th hole when it was all square against me.
Laid up?
No, I think he went over the green with his second shot.
An 18?
I think so.
Cletus?
I think so.
Jesus.
Spitting on his hands.
Must have had a sprinkler head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, God love him.
Yeah, and I got up and down for birdie, and I guess I wasn't giving him a pop, and I think he was behind the green in a 3-putt.
I think I was there. I think I was there for that
Yeah,
match.
you're
I
probably
remember-
caddying.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So if he would have laid up, he theoretically, but he still had to birdie.
Yeah,
So
I
if he's
rather-
laying up, he's got to get up and down from
Well, I read the
100 to
putt for him,
120.
and he missed it like 8 feet right. I said, it wasn't a misread. I mean, I said it's about 5 balls left, and you hit it 8 feet right.
Bubba Watson them.
At least you didn't lay up like Brennan Todd for the second day in a row.
Brennan Todd not
dumbass.
taking shrapnel.
Well, 3 again, had 158 or 258 at the hole. I'm going to lay up to about 50 yards. And then
F. Eric Cole, too.
hit a very nice wedge to 60 feet.
Min Woo's no longer leading, Iggy. But you know who's on a heater and might shoot in the low 60s today is Ricky. Ricky is 6 under through 12. What in the hell? And he won. I saw him win that tournament in 2017. Maybe he can have another win. Anyway, time for us to shut it down. Jackson, I got to go deal with the situation. It's down the hallway. It's called Balloon Party. It's sponsored by Munganess St. Louis Acura, Munganess Burkhardt Alton Toyota for the Plowhawk, for KG Town for Kenneth Iggy Strode, from under the Kevin for Jackson Burkett filling in for Douglas Elvin Vaughn. I'm Tim McKernan. This has been TMA, presented to you by Brown and Crouppen.
Yeah, that plow, boys.